Today, partly sunny, a slight chance for a shower with a high of 60 at the lake, 66 inland. And then Saturday will be mostly sunny with a high of 62 at the lake, 65 inland. Right now in Madison, it's 47, Green Bay 42, Waukesha is 44, and in Milwaukee, it's 46 degrees. I'm Debbie Lazaga. Citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 9:09.
Breaking down the biggest stories, talking about what really matters, and bringing you the biggest forum to let your voice be heard. Now, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue, here's Steve Scafidi.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday show, May 2nd. Thanks for finding us. I know you have a lot of choices. This is your best choice. All internal biases notwithstanding. So, you heard a little bit of the morning show. They're talking about, well, it started off as a Gordon Lightfoot tribute, then it kind of devolved into I don't know if it was a tribute to Arlo Guthrie because he's still alive. He's like 75 years old. So was the newsboy confused on that? What was happening there? Arlo Guthrie, brilliant talent, but Edmund Fitzgerald, come on, that's the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Gordon Lightfoot's. The melodious tunes of Gordon Lightfoot, 84 years old. He is probably an artist that most people, like when his songs were always kind of unconventional, longer. I think that record of the Edmund Fitzgerald's like 6 or 7 minutes long. Not your typical top 40 music, although at one point it was number 2 on the charts behind another one of his songs. And that's how popular this guy was. Now, I tasked big-time sports guy, producer Brandon, with finding some Gordon Lightfoot music. Not sure if he's paying attention or not, but I know he's very busy today. Very busy. A lot of things going on. Be a perfect time for a little backdrop of some Gordon Lightfoot music at some point. There you go. So, quick story. We used to have a massive deer camp. This is the 70s. To the early 80s. We're talking 20-plus guys. Big deer camp, central Wisconsin. And one of our camp members, Gus, was a mechanic for my uncle, Sam, and his sons, Don and Sam Jr. And he actually was on that ship years prior. And all I can remember him talking about that, because this is after the song came out, obviously, and the ship went down in 75. He was on it in the late 60s, early 70s. And Gus would tell us this creepiness of being on this massive, I think it was like almost 700 feet long, going through the Great Lakes, creaking and big waves smashing over the deck, splashing over the deck. It was always like the eeriest feeling, and of course the thing goes down. Massive storm, 60-mile-an-hour winds, waves like 30 feet tall. And this song is like, it still is good. Like, you could release this song now, it's still like a great song. Not sure why it was Arlo Guthrie Day on the Wisconsin Morning News program, but we honor and respect Gordon Lightfoot. 84 years old, died after a brilliant music career. And here's how you know when they're good. This is when you know they're really, really good. People like Bob Dylan and other great songwriters paid tribute to him. Just respect. It's also, let me put my old man hat on. Or I just put my old man hat on. When you could actually understand the lyrics to songs. And they didn't have the F word and the N word and every other word that you can't see on the radio in the song. And it tells the story of this massive ship going down to Lake Superior, which if you've ever been to Lake Superior, it's just a scary lake. Even on a quiet day, it's scary. Big, deep. And I think I saw something that takes an incredible amount of time for water in Lake Superior to make its way back out to the ocean. Like 100 years or something crazy like that. As fast as those waves are coming, it takes that long to kind of work its way through the system, all the Great Lakes, out to the ocean. So Edmund Fitzgerald, dead at 84. Not Arlo Guthrie Day. Not at all. Great singer-songwriter, Gordon Lightfoot. So we'll give him a little love today throughout the show. All right, after the break, sort of a crazy idea Leave it up to Wisconsin to come up with these ideas. Only state in the country that wants to do this. And surprise, surprise, has to do with alcohol. Always about alcohol in this state. I'll give you the headlines and I'll give you my take. That's all coming up on our Tuesday edition right here in WTMJ.
God goes when the waves turn the minutes to hours. The searchers all say they'd have made Whitefish Bay if they'd put 15 more miles behind her.
This is the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Saturday afternoon at 1. At Creative Planning, we custom tailor your portfolio to help you achieve your ideal financial future. You'll see how our wealth managers work with in-house CPAs and attorneys to ensure your money is working as hard as it can for you. Why not give your wealth a second look? Visit creativeplanning.com. That's creativeplanning.com.
Hey, this is WTMJ, Steve Scafidi for Advent. I've talked about it, snoring and tossing and turning. That does not have to be your reality when you go to bed. It was mine for a long time. Probably a lot of you people have the same sleep history. I should say lack of sleep. Well, I did something about it. You can too. I went to Advent, one of their great facilities, talked to two of their docs on the first day. Quick 30-minute visit. They put me at ease, answered my questions, and in a scheduled appointment a few weeks later, they fixed my problem. It was my sinuses and nasal passages, breathing triangle, all fixed. And since then, sleeping through the whole night. Again, last night, solid sleep. It is the best feeling when you wake up refreshed in the morning. That could be you. If you struggle like I did with restless nights, take the time to see how Advent can help. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to adventknows.com, schedule an appointment today. Because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
What if you could build a six-figure retirement income with almost half the money saved? You heard that right. Get a discount on your retirement, creating a six-figure income with 40% less than traditional 401ks and mutual funds. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, best-selling author and executive producer of a new Hollywood documentary called The Baby Boomer Dilemma. In this film, economists and Nobel Prize-winning PhDs from Wharton, MIT, and Stanford share a strange concept I call the retirement discount. It gives you more retirement income with the same dollar saved, and your money is never at risk if the market crashes. That's right. If the market crashes 30%, you lose nothing. Even people who are on track have shifted money to this new strategy because it increases their retirement income or can allow them to stop working years sooner. So if you are over 50 and want a bigger, better retirement with less money, call to get a free copy of this brand new movie, 1-800-578-3535. This is a $30 value, but when you call today, you get it completely free, plus 2 hours of bonus behind-the-scenes footage. No credit card required. Call right now. 1-800-578-3535. That's 1-800-578-3535. Again, 1-800-578-3535.
Now, more of the Steve Scafidi Show on
Every
WTMJ.
highway, let me slip away on you. Every highway, you've seen better days.
Little Gordon Lightfoot passed yesterday, 84 years old. He got a great text, 262. I could just sit and listen to this all day. Little easy listening on a Tuesday here on WTMJ. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, yes. I remember well, this is from the 262. I remember well the night the Edmund Fitzgerald sank while they were having hurricane-force winds on Lake Superior with snow and ice. That late fall storm system briefly brought temps in southern Wisconsin up to nearly 70 degrees from dark up until a squall line with severe thunderstorms and a few brief tornadoes. Then by daybreak, we were back into the 30s. This is written by a forecaster. It has to be. And news broke of the tragedy. The year later, Gordon Lightfoot came out with his famous song. And wasn't Steve's dad part of the National Weather Service, NWS office here forecasting for that storm? He was, and he's a meteorologist, still is, retired. But I don't know if he was working that storm. Actually, my dad can send me a text if he was. I'd be curious if he had some information on that. It's a sad story, obviously, because many people lost their lives. They had no chance. I mean, the waves were tremendous. They were taking on water. It wasn't any fault of the ship, just a massive, massive storm that shows the serious nature of messing around with the Great Lakes. And when you're that heavy, you start taking on water besides, that ship's going to get to the bottom pretty quick. Now, they protected it as a national site, I think in the 80s, because there were people diving on it, and that was offending some of the family members. But I think it's been protected since maybe 86, which is the right way to handle it. But Gordon Lightfoot heard that story and crafted the song. He actually changed the lyrics at one point because they weren't specific or accurate enough to reflect what actually happened. And so he actually changed the lyrics when he did the song. He didn't do it always when he performed. And unfortunately, I never saw him perform. I think I had a chance once, and something came up. Let's see. From the 920, there's a picture of a really cool picture. 1959, my sister and brother's me with the camera standing in front of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Yeah. And as I said, my deer camp guy, Gus, who I have not seen since the 70s or early 80s. I don't even know if he's still alive, to be honest. He was on that ship years earlier, and he would tell us the scary stories about what that was like to be on that ship on the Great Lakes. So Gordon Lightfoot, 84 years old. What a career. Long time crooner and songwriter, and respected by some of the best people in the business. So that's what I take away from it. So I mentioned this before the break. Now, if you listen to my show, you know that I've been pretty sensitive about some of the things that we do when it comes to alcohol in the state. We've been very lenient with people who operate their vehicles under the influence of alcohol. Most lenient penalties in the country. We seem to celebrate the bar culture for a lot of different reasons, which, frankly, aren't going to matter in this conversation. You can take away from that what you want. I think it's a issue of not recognizing the problem, probably the best way to state it. And I don't want to beat up Wisconsin. I love the state. That's why I live here. But we have an alcohol problem, which brings me to this headline. This was from Fox 6, but everybody covered the story. Serving alcohol in Wisconsin, bill would allow 14-year-olds to do it. Dateline Madison, 14-year-olds in Wisconsin could serve alcohol to seated customers in bars and restaurants under a bill circulated for co-sponsors on Monday, May 1st by a pair of Republican state lawmakers. Of course, the current law is only workers age 18 and above can serve alcohol to customers in Wisconsin. It would broaden that to 14 to 17, only serving seated customers, not people drinking at the bar. Well, it's a good qualifier because that, in my opinion, would not be appropriate. But I would take it one step further. I don't think this is a good idea, a good decision. Now, the owner has to be on premise or the licensed operator of the bar. And supervising, kind of an important qualifier as well. 855-616-1620. I don't like this at all. We don't need more exposure of our young people to alcohol. I understand they work in a bar or restaurant. But when you start getting really young boys and girls involved in the delivery of alcohol, now they can take the order, yes, that's much different. When you're delivering a drink to somebody, or drinks, I think there are safety and security issues. I think there are issues of customers not acting appropriately. And again, that's on the customers, not on the waiters or waitresses or servers. I think it sends the wrong message. Now, I understand why this is a thing, because we are talking about an industry that's challenged to get enough people to work. But what should happen when you have an industry, any industry, take bars and restaurants out of it, when you don't have enough available people to work? You have to make it attractive enough for those people to want to do that job. And in Wisconsin, that's always been a challenge. Minimum wage, work for tips. And we've certainly seen that industry suffer as a result of the pandemic. So we don't want to pick on that industry. I just think this opens up an entire can of worms that we don't necessarily need, in addition to all the other can of worms, which I've talked about. Too much drunk driving. I just had this conversation off mic the other day. Sort of this wink, wink, nod, nod system we have of sobriety. People guessing what their level of inebriation is. They don't know. They're not testing you when you leave a bar. You have no idea. Oh, I can handle 2 drinks, no problem. Oh, I can handle 3 drinks. I can handle 4 drinks. You drink 4, let's just pick a drink. Manhattans, You should not be driving. Yet every day in this state, people get out there and they drive after having done that. Worse on the weekends. Separate issue, yes. The culture, though, of drinking in this state is one that we should think about. I'm going to take a break. We got a former bar owner that has a different opinion, which I welcome. 855-616-1620. Jim, you're up next, right here on WTMJ.
This is the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ. They say baseball's a numbers game.
I really struggled with math.
Well, let's keep it simple.
Show me some numbers.
Start with a hot brat and a cold brew. At Brewers Baseball on WTMJ.
Swing and a drive to right and deep. Get up! Get up! Get out of here! Go!
And repeat the formula all season long.
Oh, baby.
We are the home of your Milwaukee Brewers. WTMJ.
Wisconsin weather can put a damper on things, but don't let it ruin your outdoor plans. Sister Bay Furniture is furniture built in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Built from premium, sustainable materials, Sister Bay Furniture endures the grueling conditions of Wisconsin weather. That's commercial-grade quality for your outdoor space. Stop by their showroom today, located out in Sussex on Executive Drive, or visit their website today at sisterbayfurniture.com. Sister Bay Furniture, built in Wisconsin for Wisconsin.
Planning that summer vacation list? Road trip, hiking and kayaking, beer and festivals. Accomplish it all by visiting Beloit this summer. The city of Beloit features a memorable foodie scene, seasonal outdoor experiences, vibrant entertainment, culturally unique arts, and much more. On July 15th, Beloit hosts the Lager Than Life Beer Festival. Golf, hit the trails, or float down the river on a tube. Check out Wisconsin's second largest farmers market. Enjoy decadent local dining in downtown Beloit. Plan your next weekend getaway today. Visit Beloit.com.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Your pain is likely due to a wear and tear process called osteoarthritis. Now, when you combine that with being a little overweight or not being as active as you'd like to be, you get into a downward pain spiral. At Rejuvenex, we control pain by precisely targeting and treating the areas where your pain lives, like shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees. With our powerful FDA-approved treatments that cushion and lubricate the affected areas to deliver long-lasting pain relief. Now, like maintenance on a car, to maintain your relief, our team of physicians will follow up with you roughly every 6 to 18 months. My name is Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Pain Clinics. Rejuvenex is in-network with most major insurance plans, including Medicare and Medicaid. We can alleviate your pain, and that'll rejuvenate your life. It's pain relief, really.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
Now, more of the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
Could read my mind, love, what a tale my thoughts could tell. Just like an old-time movie about a ghost from a wishing well.
I could let that run all day. Great, talented songwriter and performer. Gordon Lightfoot. Ton of hits, too. All right. We talked about it before the break. A new bill would allow children, 14 to 17, to serve drinks. Now, they can't serve behind the bar. That's an important qualifier and one that we should note. But they can't deliver them to tables. I just think it's something we don't need to get into. Apparently, there's one other state that's considering this. Somebody just sent me a text. But my knowledge is, at least what I could tell quickly, is that this is not done in other places. But I encourage people who disagree, and Jim disagrees with me on this. Hey, Jim, welcome.
Yes, good morning. As far as 14, I think that's a little bit young. But I recently had an experience where we were at a restaurant. They were short on help. The bar owner was trying to do the waitressing and run the bar and everything. He had a 16-year-old busboy, and the boy was very attentive, working hard and everything. After he made the order, or came and got our drink order, went back to the bar, made the drinks, he had the busboy bring them out to him. And that kid worked hard and was just fantastic. I think it depends, a little bit too on the personality of the kid.
Sure. Now, let me ask you, as a former bar owner, is this something that has, you think a lot of places did this on and off because they had to?
I'm sure they're doing it on and off when they can. If they have no other choice, what do?
Yeah, thanks for the call, Jim. Here's my concern. I was a bartender for almost 20 years as a part-time job. I had a full-time job, but also enjoyed bartending in all kinds of different places, going back to the late 70s. And one of my concerns is young women, young girls who would be then put out there dealing with people who are drinking. Now, I understand this happens as waitresses as well. It's a little bit different when they're delivering alcohol to a table. It opens up a conversation that maybe is not appropriate. And again, this is not an indictment of the bar and restaurant industry. They do fantastic work. We should support them. I try to do that whenever I can, and I think you should too. And that's one of the fun things about living in Wisconsin. We have great places to go. I just think we're getting a little ahead of ourselves when it comes to dumbing down some of the laws that protect young people, keep us safe. I understand there's a challenge in the workforce. But again, that's on the owner. You have to find a way to make those jobs attractive, whether that's perks in your own restaurants, whether that's a higher wage than minimum wage. I don't know what it is. And I know you're challenged by the economy, and it's not generally a high-profit industry, generally, in most cases. I just think we have to think about this one a little bit. Mike joins us. Hey, Mike, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Steve. How are you?
I am good on this Tuesday.
Yeah, nice weather rolling in slowly. I'm heading towards Dubuque, and it's clearing up, so that's coming our way.
Love it. What do you think on this one?
So the question was on Vince's show as well, and I called in. I'm shocked that there's even 14 and 15-year-olds that are waiting tables. I was only a busboy at that age. Couldn't even have expected to have anything to do with alcohol. I kind of like the way it is now, 18 to serve, because I think at 18 you are considered an adult, other than, being able to buy alcohol. I suppose if they had to lower it, I would not go below 16. I'm not even sure if I'm comfortable with that, only because of the issues that I heard on Vince's show about, okay, what if their, friends come in? Are they going to serve them? And I know there's going to be supervisors and everything, but I would absolutely not go below 16.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Mike. I mean, here's the deal. They're serving at 18. They can't even drink till they're 21. So we're going to make a 7-year jump here, allowing young men and women as young as 14 years old. Now, 14 years old could mean a lot of things. Some kids are very mature at 14. Some they look like they're in grade school. And again, you're putting the onus on the kids to make these decisions when it comes to carding someone. What if the person at the table challenged them? Why are you carding me? I'm 21. Then they are now involved in that conversation. And obviously they could call for their supervisor, the manager. But again, this is a conversation right now they don't have to have, because you're supposed to be 18. Now, the earlier caller, I think, said something pretty appropriate there. Pretty relevant. My guess is, wink, wink, nod, nod, this is happening all over the place. We just not hearing about it. So when this bill came forward, it was like, not that much different than what we do now, even though it's not legal. Something to think about. I say no. Too young. 18 is the law, and they can't even drink till they're 21. So unless you want to make everything 18, which is kind of what I advocated for, don't start going down this road of lowering that threshold even lower to a 14-year-old boy or girl. Doesn't seem appropriate to me, regardless of what the business is. Our news time is 9:32 from our Breaking News Center. Debbie Laziga.
All right, thanks, Steve. After 3 years of historic gun violence in Milwaukee, Governor Tony Evers again proposed numerous control and safety measures in his biennial budget. However, today, Republicans in the Joint Finance Committee are expected to remove just about all of them. According to the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, this move comes despite large majorities of Wisconsin residents supporting measures like red flag laws and universal background checks. State Senator Van Wangard says these provisions are being removed because they are inappropriate for a budget bill. A jury trial will begin today for the 15-year-old boy charged with sexually assaulting an 87-year-old woman at knife point at the Waukesha Public Library in 2021. Khalil Perry, who is a member of Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson's extended family, is facing numerous charges, including first-degree sexual assault and armed robbery with the use of force. Prosecutors say he robbed the woman at knife point while she was returning books to the library, taking her car with her in it as well as her credit cards before assaulting her. Judge Jennifer Doro will preside over the trial, which is expected to last 3 days. As National Mental Health Awareness Month kicks off this May, Kohl's has made a donation to Children's Wisconsin in hopes of opening 3 more mental health walk-in clinics across the state. The goal is for these clinics to offer similar services to those provided at the Craig Yabuki Mental Health Walk-In Clinic, which has been open at Children's Wisconsin since March of 2022. The clinics would provide mental health support to kids between the ages of 5 and 18 and be staffed with licensed therapists and social workers. Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Right now, the Dow is down 428 points to 33,623. The NASDAQ is down 128 to 12,084. And the S&P is down 51 to 4,115. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button today. And taking a look at your roads with your Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. We do have one accident on 94 eastbound right about at Highway 18. It is off on the left shoulder, not in the travel lanes, and volume is relatively light, that you're not seeing too many delays around there. Where we are seeing some backups is on southbound 43 between Good Hope Road and just north of Silver Spring to about Bender Road. So just watch out for that heavy spot right there.
Traffic is sponsored by Built Right Furniture, Leather and Mattresses.
For affordable, better quality furniture and mattresses, you've got to get to Built Right today. Built Right Furniture saves you money. 54th and Layton Avenue in Greenfield.
In your WTMJ 5-day forecast today, mostly cloudy with a slight chance of rain, windy with a high of 48. Tonight, decreasing clouds, breezy, a low of 36. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, breezy with a high of 53 at the lakefront, 58 inland. Thursday, mostly sunny with a high of 57 at the lake, 65 inland. Friday, partly sunny, a slight chance for a shower, a high of 60 at the lakefront, 66 inland. And Saturday, mostly sunny, a high of 62 at the lake, 65 inland. In Appleton, it's 42, McWanago 48, and in Milwaukee, it is 46 degrees. I'm Debbie Loziga, Sighting Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 9:36.
Hey, Mother's Day is almost here. Just think about how much your lovely mother means to you. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I've got a great idea. Take your mom to the brunch buffet at the historic Fox and Hounds restaurant. Mother's Day is one of the most special holidays of the year at the Fox and Hounds. The brunch buffet is everything Mom loves for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, including prime rib and an entire room of delicious desserts. And it's all you care to eat. Kids and grandkids under 3 eat for free. How fun is that? Choose from over 100 wines and delicious cocktails to accent your Mother's Day brunch. The Fox and Hound sits in the heart of the Kettle Moraine Forest. The setting is stunning. Reservations are required. Tables fill quickly for Mother's Day, so reserve today at foxandhoundsrestaurant.com. The Fox and Hounds, just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of Holy Hill. The Spring Drive is just beautiful. Happy Mother's Day. Serving from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. foxandhoundsrestaurant.com. Reserve today. It's the famous and delicious Fox and Hounds.
To be the best, you have to beat the best. And in order to beat the best, you have to compete with the best. And I'll tell you what, playing with the best equipment doesn't hurt either, especially when it comes to baseball and softball. We truly believe that. And that's why Burkhardt Sporting Goods stocks the Midwest's largest selection of the finest baseball and softball equipment. More bats, more gloves, and more equipment from all the best names. This is Brian Burkhardt, and when you love baseball and softball like we do, you can't beat Burkhardt. If you plan on draining buzzer beaters, the place to start is Burkhardt, where you'll find a great selection of shoes and court gear. But what's going to turn you into the next big thing on the court is practice. And there's no better place to do it than on your own court. Having your own hoop is an absolute must to hone your shot. And we'll help you get there with a great selection of basketball hoops and accessories. This is Brian Burkhardt, and I promise you, when you love basketball like we do, you can't beat Burkhardt.
This is the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
In the early morning rain, with $1 in my hand, with aching in my heart.
Probably makes producer Brandon want to get on his bike and ride, man. This
Pockets full of
is
sand.
good traveling music. Gordon Lightfoot, the great Gordon Lightfoot, passed away, 84 years old. He had a sound, man. It's one of those rare voices where you immediately know who that is. There's not a lot of that anymore. It's kind of like a little bit older. Well, actually not. He died far too young. Jim Croce, same kind of thing. I can tell a Jim Croce song when I hear the first few bars of the song. Bob Dylan loved this guy. Almost every artist worth his salt said that he was just an incredibly talented songwriter, and he was known for his accuracy, especially when his famous song, The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. So we're playing some of his music, kicking off the show today. I wanted to talk about this next one, and I got a lot of great text on the story about the 14 to 17-year-old alcohol delivery in bars and restaurants. I will say that it's about 50-50. Probably got about 100 texts on it. About 50-50. I can also tell you that the people that work in the industry love the idea. I just think we have to be careful whenever we're talking about alcohol in the state of Wisconsin. I understand they're not making the drinks. I understand they're not taking the orders. I understand they're not standing behind the bar. Still, they're involved in the delivery of alcohol, and I think that does open some of that up to abuse. And that was my take. All right, so I saw this story yesterday, Wall Street Journal. Here's the headline. Schools are ditching homework deadlines in favor of equitable grading. Equitable grading. The story that I'm referencing has to do with a Las Vegas high school. And if you've had kids or you pay attention to the school district, the evolution of grading policy when it comes to homework, testing, is revolutionary. Almost about the only way I can put it. We went from a system, my era, where you took a test, you live with the results. I can't remember a retest. Now, many, many high schools, might even be the norm now, you can take the test as many times as you need to pass it. You can improve your grade. But this new form of grading purportedly tries to measure whether the student knows the classroom material by the end of the term, whatever that specific term is. Homework is played down, multiple opportunities, not just for tests, but assignments. Now, the big advocates of this, besides some school districts, consultants, which, my take, have infected school districts to the point where it's every few years we have a new way to do things. I didn't say better, I said new. The argument has traditionally been in recent times that students who exhibit bad behavior or are bad test takers or don't like homework are being unfairly biased in the grading system. I would argue that's real life, but that's really the discussion. Proponents also argue that this benefits students with things they do outside of school, jobs, caring for their siblings, also those with learning disabilities. They say, not me, they say traditional grading methods, the ones that probably you and I are used to, favor those with a stable home life and hands-on parents. So you see what they've done here. It's more of the social justice crusade impacting how school education is conceived and practiced. 855-616-1620. I don't like it. Not a fan. I've argued forever, since I've had a show, that we have to get back to teaching kids the basics. And that will be at the expense of some of the extracurricular stuff, some of the smorgasbord of classes that we offer kids now. All that's great for the kids who have shown the ability to handle the basics. But if you can't do that, that's going to be your focus. Whatever else is out there, you get to it when you handle the core stuff. And I see that recent story, city of Cudahy, just south and east of where I'm at right now. I'm in downtown Milwaukee, went back to phonics-based reading. And I applaud them, because some of us have been talking about that for a long time. There's a great piece written by Alan Borsick in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Yes. In this attempt to pacify and include every form of crazy behavior as, well, they're just acting out. Johnny's just being himself. We've dumbed down education in the attempt to be inclusive. There's real things we should be inclusive about, and that's the opportunity for people with disabilities to get the same education. Absolutely, sign me up. The people who do that work, every time I meet one, I shake their hand and say, I couldn't do that job. They do it brilliantly, often with no credit and low pay. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about regular kids who can't behave, who now have to be accommodated because they don't want to pay attention in class. They don't want to do homework. I mean, it is mind-boggling to think at some point homework is now it's a negative. Whatever happened to studying? Because someone deemed that was, racist? Penalizes kids who don't have a great family life? Then do your homework on the bus. Do your homework in the library. Do your homework in an environment where you're not being yelled at or worse. 855-616-1620, the old National Bank talk and text line. I don't like it. It's one more push to move away from a model that worked fantastically well for a long time, because some consultants or some former superintendents now pitching a product to teach that's different. That's what I think. What do you think after this?
You're listening to the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
Live life to the fullest. Hey, you hear that all the time, but it's easier said than done when you're in pain, right? Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. QC Kinetics gives people all around Milwaukee their quality of life by providing much-needed relief for chronic joint pain, and not just providing that relief, but doing it in the most non-invasive way possible, using regenerative treatments from your body's own natural biologics. So where is your joint pain? In your knees, your hips, shoulders, maybe your back? Well, QC Kinetics concentrates these impactful treatments right at the source of your pain, directly applying healing properties where you need them the most. No surgery, no downtime, no steroids or harmful drugs. And patients are raving about the results. So what does living life to the fullest look like for you? Well, finally being able to exercise or walk the dog, maybe enjoying time with the family, or just working your job. Whatever it is, don't wait another day. Call QC Kinetics for your complimentary consultation. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Give them a call. 414-285-3474.
Have you saved enough? What are you going to do with Social Security? Will your taxes go up or down in retirement? I'm Tony Drake, founder of Drake & Associates. I believe retirement planning should be easy, and you should be able to get all the information you need in one place. That's why I'm offering the Retirement Ready Toolkit, a comprehensive resource for your retirement. In it, you'll find a copy of my new book, Get Retirement Ready. It'll provide insight on taxes, Social Security, income, and more. You'll also receive resources on retirement's most common concerns. To get your toolkit, call or text KIT to 414-404-4994. Get your Retirement Ready Toolkit from Drake & Associates now by calling or texting KIT to 414-404-4994.
Investment advisory services provided by Drake & Associates, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products are offered through a separate company, Law Financial Group, LLC. Registration as an investment advisor does not imply any level of skill or training.
At Semper Fi, the path to self-improvement never ends. It feels good to be good. It's been 20 years, and we'll make sure you feel like you made a great decision to have us work on your next exterior remodeling project.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
We've
We've all experienced that feeling of lacing up a brand new pair of shoes.
And for some reason, it always felt like new shoes made you run faster, jump higher, and of course, look better.
Yeah, it was almost magical.
A brand new set of tires on your car or truck will instantly give you that same magical feeling.
Courtney, I couldn't agree with you more. A new set of treads always makes your vehicle look better, but more importantly, allows you to stop faster and grip the road a whole lot better.
Which is necessary when the weather is bad and driving conditions are poor. You'll appreciate having the extra traction.
Remember, there isn't a tire brand on the planet we can't get.
Everything from Goodyear Continental and Kelly to Dunlop General and Pirelli. If we sell it, we install it.
Plus, every tire we sell automatically comes with free flat tire repair. So be safe, buckle up, and hey, always make sure you've got good tread on your tires. I'm Brett Matchke with Rich Lawns. You're due for service.
Such a refreshing change. Rich Lawns.
Now, more of the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
Changes in how schools teach. Not a new idea. Referencing a Wall Street Journal story called titled Schools Are Ditching Homework Deadlines in Favor of Equitable Grading. Trying to be more fair. Now, a texter says this in the 920, and you can join us at 855-616-1620, the old National Bank Talk and Text line. Kind of a wild take that it matters more to you when a child knows the material than that the child learns the material. This is a common response. Whenever someone questions, you're not going to hurt my feelings. Here's why that's not the best way to do things. Because if you're spending an entire semester teaching that original piece of knowledge that you're trying to impart to this student, you can't get on to the next parts because you're continually taking and retaking tests and homework, turning them in over and over and over again, and you get in a cycle where it's not really productive anymore. That's why it matters. I've talked to enough teachers, I'm married to a teacher, to know that this is not a popular trend. But yet here we are. It's redundant. It's rewarding kids who don't do the work. And the piece from the Wall Street Journal, and I would have said this anyway, makes the point, these are not life lessons that are worthwhile in a work environment. Here's why that matters. We've gotten away from this idea that the point of education, beyond just teaching kids what they need to know, is to get them ready for a life of work. Not sitting around, not playing video games, not screwing around, but work. Productive, quality lives. Spent less time worrying about what tattoo you're going to get and more about the job that's going to pay for you to have the lifestyle that you want to live. And I'm sorry that's tough love for people, but we have really gotten ourselves into a situation here. This desire to appease everybody. Anything goes. Where disruptors are rewarded for disrupting. Not punished, because that is perceived as some sort of a racist action. It's racist if you make it racist. It's equal treatment if everyone has the same rules. You don't behave, doesn't matter what color you are. None of that matters. It's your behavior that drives what's going to happen to you. And I know, because I've dealt with school districts all over the state, conversations. They don't like to be told what to do, trust me. To the point where they will shut that conversation down if it doesn't meet what the district is looking to do. And I would say this, how much money, how much taxpayer money has been wasted on these constant churning different ways to teach, as if the ways we had weren't good enough. The only thing that's changed in schools is behavior. Jack joins us from Caledonia. Hey, Jack.
Steve, life lessons, you're absolutely right. You raise your kids to be functional adults. When our kids were young, people made comments all the time about how mature they were, and they're only 4 or 5 years old. You know, they knew how to shake somebody's hand. They knew how to say hi. As they got older, they, you know, were held to, you gotta do well in school. You gotta, put forth an effort. And I told people, I said, I'm not raising little kids. I'm raising young adults.
Yes.
Okay. And right now we don't have any. Our 3 kids are all successful. They're not moving back home. So the last bedroom can be changed into something else now.
Right, Jack. Well done, Jack. That's what I'm talking. Thanks for the call, Jack. That's what I'm talking about. You set limits. I've had this conversation away from the show as well where, my kids are my best friends. Your kids are not your best friends. They're not your best friends. You can keep saying it over and over again. They are not your best friends. You're actually damaging that relationship if that's the case. Does that mean you don't do everything you can to make their life better than yours, successful, safe? No. You pull out all the stops. But this idea that we are there to entertain kids in school or put up with bad behavior, ignore the disruptors because we don't want to hurt their feelings. We don't want to exclude them. I had this conversation with a school board member, former. What are you going to do, just throw them out? If they're violent, yeah. They threaten teachers, you bet. My idea is a lot stricter than most. Boot camp. You want to go to high school or an alternate high school, if that's the choice, if your district has it, you're going to a boot camp. You're going to work. We're going to teach you a skill. At some point, maybe the light bulb goes off in your head. I understand that's tough love, but the trends are going in the wrong direction. And we have to do something about this. Equitable grading is an excuse. It's an excuse for bad behavior. It's an excuse for not committing to doing the work. From the 262, I worked as a special ed aide. Schoolwork has dropped down almost 2 grade levels in the last 10 years. 5-year-olds are expected to read and write like second graders. Too stressful. Can't be kids. Okay. From the 414, after teaching high school for 20-plus years and middle school before that, I can tell you horror stories over this homework grading philosophy change and the harm it does to children. People who think this is fair to students are full of it. There's nothing but harm. Students, kids who come to school to really learn and work hard because that is what their parents instill in them are hurt over this, and they hate it more than we do. Kids need to go to school to learn and work as hard as they can to learn. That doesn't mean giving them breaks over and over when they do little or nothing to help themselves. Couldn't say it any better. Stop making excuses for bad behavior. Enough. You want improvements in education, conduct, performance, testing, all of that stuff. Have standards that really matter. Stop playing around with the rules. It's not the rules, it's the behavior. Quick break.
This is the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
Oh, so you think you've got hops? Let's leave the handling of the hops to us. The Brewers are out in Colorado to take on the Rockies tonight.
Reaches up and makes a catch. Wow, Joey Weimer added to the highlight reel.
Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 7:05. Presented by American Family Insurance. We are the home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
Eric Smith here from Austin Plumbing, Heating, and Air, home of the AC Gurus. And I believe there are 3 areas where you just don't go cheap. Tires, toilet paper, and tune-ups. I call them the 3 T's. As much driving around as our trucks do, we can't skimp on tires. We want to remain famous for being on time. Toilet paper, well, we don't have to get into that, but you feel me, right? 1 ply just won't cut it. Then there's tune-ups. If you expect your AC to start up and keep running strong all season, if you want to ensure your equipment lasts years longer, that calls for an ostentatious AC tune-up by a guru from Austin Plumbing, Heating, and Air. That time spent with your AC, that 90 minutes to 2 solid hours, whoa, that's some quality time. And the results are guaranteed. Remember, you get what you pay for, and then some with Austin Plumbing, Heating, and Air. We deliver the cold air with timeliness. Oh, that's 4 T's. Schedule your appointment online at teamaustin.com.
Staples stores provide innovative products and services for small business, remote workers and learners, even teachers and parents. Explore more at your local Staples store.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex.com. What if you could build a six-figure retirement income with almost half the money saved? You heard that right. Get a discount on your retirement, creating a six-figure income with 40% less than traditional 401ks and mutual funds. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, best-selling author and executive producer of a new Hollywood documentary called The Baby Boomer Dilemma. In this film, economists and Nobel Prize-winning PhDs from Wharton, MIT, and Stanford share a strange concept I call the retirement discount. It gives you more retirement income with the same dollar saved, and your money is never at risk if the market crashes. That's right. If the market crashes 30%, you lose nothing. Even people who are on track have shifted money to this new strategy because it increases their retirement income or can allow them to stop working years sooner. So if you are over 50 and want a bigger, better retirement with less money, call to get a free copy of this brand new movie, 1-800-578-3535. This is a $30 value, but when you call today, you get it completely free, plus 2 hours of bonus behind-the-scenes footage. No credit card required. Call right now. 1-800-578-3535. That's 1-800-578-3535. Again, 1-800-578-3535.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. Now, more of the Steve Scafidi Show.
A lot of texters making the same point that I was making on the changes in education, the equitable grading systems that are being thrown around, and their impact on the workforce. We don't need a workforce that's not interested in hitting deadlines or doing the work or taking forever to do the work. That's not a highly skilled, well-trained worker. Anybody think there's a crossover? A lot of you recognize that there is. So well done, all of you. We'll take a break. Lots more to get to after the news, which is next on WTMJ.
You're listening to the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
In Wisconsin, making memories together is for everyone, whatever your ability. So here's to soaking up surf culture right here on Wisconsin's Fresh Coast. To making time for stargazing as a family. And to imaginations cleared for takeoff. Here's to festies with besties. And singing along to your favorite song. Here's to those who Wisconsin. Start your summer getaway at travelwisconsin.com.
Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. Family owned. Family operated, family priced. Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. There's one near you.
I'm Jim Cantrell, and I believe we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to financialstrategiesinc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial strategies, a wiser way to build your wealth.
What's better than the look and feel of real leather? The amazing prices at Steinhoffel's.
Looks like these guys are having a rocky start.
Swinging a broken bat liner that is going to be caught with a diving backhanded grab by Joey Weaver to end the inning.
Coverage of the Brewers in Colorado starts tonight at 7:05. We are the home of the Brewers. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
.01, 44 degrees, cloudy, slight chance for a little bit of rain, a high of 48. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Eric Bilstead. State budget items relating to gun violence will be eliminated from the plan. Joint Finance Committee will take it up today.
After 3 years of historic gun violence in Milwaukee, Governor Tony Evers again proposing numerous control and safety measures in his biennial budget. However, today, Republicans in the Joint Finance Committee are expected to remove just about all of them. According to the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, this move comes despite large majorities of Wisconsin residents supporting measures like red flag laws and universal background checks. However, State Senator Van Wanggaard says these provisions are just being removed because they are inappropriate for a budget bill. Finn Askin, WTMJ News.
The committee also expected to strip the budget of creating a paid family leave program, automatic voter registration, and legalization of marijuana. School bus crash on Monday in Milwaukee, the latest incident of reckless driving near schools.
Those other incidents, which have been going on for the past several years, did not result in any injuries, but Monday's crash outside Morse Middle School caused injuries in both vehicles. Alderwoman Larissa Taylor tells TMJ4 News.
Protecting our children is the utmost importance and should be a priority.
Milwaukee police say the car that hit the bus was a stolen Kia. In video of the crash, passengers can be seen hanging out of the windows before the impact. Taylor says this behavior needs to stop.
Are there other activities that we can take our young people and focus their energy on?
Wyatt Barmore-Pooley, WTMJ News.
I-55 in central Illinois back open this morning after a deadly dust storm caused a 70-vehicle pileup on Monday. 6 people were killed, including a woman from Franklin, dozens injured. ABC's Stephanie Ramos said the crash scene has been cleared. Shirley Harley, an 88-year-old woman from Franklin, was killed in that crash. Writers for many TV shows are on the picket line today after their union failed to come to an agreement with various studios and streaming services. This is the first time in 15 years that the Writers Guild has gone on strike. Dominic Patton is a senior editor for Deadline.
Writers now are no longer paid as much as they used to be. They're paid for shorter series, and they're not seeing any of the residuals that you used to see back in the old days.
Late-night TV shows where writers are responsible for daily material will be the first to close their productions and be affected by the strike. The White House rolling back nearly all COVID mandates with the end of the public health emergency less than 2 weeks away. More from Alexander Tin.
The White House now says it is planning to end virtually all remaining federal COVID-19 vaccine requirements. That means unvaccinated foreign travelers will soon be able to board flights into the United States for the first time in years, and most federal workers and employees will no longer be required to get a COVID shot. Other requirements will also be eventually unwound, including on healthcare workers and at the land border.
The COVID health emergency officially ends on May 11th. Sports, traffic, and weather next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:04.
Explore Milwaukee's iconic Harley-Davidson Museum this spring. The Harley-Davidson Museum campus boasts one-of-a-kind shopping with exclusive Harley gear from 2 new retail stores, an interactive experience gallery, and the Motor Bar and Restaurant. Riverfront dining with daily specials like fish fries and barbecue. And make it a point to ride over on May 4th for Bike Night, where you can stock up with up to 70% off on deals from their factory shop. The Harley-Davidson Museum, 15 years as one of Milwaukee's top tourist destinations.
Inflation isn't going away anytime soon. As the cost of everything from food to vacations to your electric bill rises, you may wonder if your retirement plans are still on track. Annex Wealth Management can help. It starts at annexwealth.com. Click the Get Started button. From there, our in-house planning team will create your wealth metric, a snapshot of where you are and where you're headed. Wealth Metric will help you understand the impact inflation may have on your plans. Get started today. Visit annexwealth.com.
Imagine getting ahead of your irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C by treating it with Linzess. Then you could start proactively managing your constipation with belly pain and get ahead of your symptoms. Talk to your doctor about Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
The Milwaukee Brewers are back in action tonight following their day off yesterday, and they begin a 6-game road trip in Colorado. The crew will have 3 against the Rockies and 3 against the San Francisco Giants before returning home next week. For tonight, it's Freddie Peralta on the mound for the Brew Crew with the first pitch scheduled for 7:40. You can tune in right here on WTMJ, the home of the Milwaukee Brewers, beginning at 7:05. And over to the NFL, where there's breaking news out of Green Bay, where the Packers and Jordan Love have agreed on a 1-year contract extension worth up to $22.5 million. That does include a $13.5 million fully guaranteed deal. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
From the Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic Center, 94 eastbound, Highway 16. Through the zoo and into downtown, for the most part, is alright. You might see some tightness right before you get to Highway 18 there, before you get to the zoo interchange, of course. But otherwise, you're good getting all the way in. About a 17, 18-minute trip into the downtown area. 4145 southbound Highway Q to the zoo, no problem there. That's 15. 43 southbound Brown Deer Road into the Marquette, will take you 12. 94 northbound also clear from Layton into the Marquette, that's 7.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast today. Still plenty of clouds and breezy this afternoon. We'll see a high of about 48, so running about 10 degrees cooler than average. As we get into tonight, we fall to 36 with clearing skies. Still breezy, though winds will let up by daybreak. Tomorrow, mostly sunny up to 53. Thursday, mostly sunny up to 57 by the lakefront, but low to mid-60s inland. Friday, partly sunny, slight chance for a shower, high of 60. And on Saturday, mostly sunny, a high of 62 by the lakefront, but 68 inland. I'm meteorologist Marissa Walls with the Storm Team forecast on WTMJ.
Right now in Madison, it's 49, Green Bay 42, Waukesha 46, and in Milwaukee 46 degrees. I'm Eric Bilstead, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 10:08.
Breaking down the biggest stories, talking about what really matters, and bringing you the biggest forum to let your voice be heard. Now, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue, here's Steve Scafidi.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the 10 o'clock hour. So I saw this, Milwaukee Business Journal, our partners, Mark Cass and crew. Here's the headline. Milwaukee leaders want a local elected officials, not vote a referendum, to decide sales tax increases. Let that simmer a bit. They want local elected officials, not voters, in a referendum, binding, to decide these sales tax increases, all part of this big deal to get communities more money. They've been crying legitimately that shared revenue coming back has dropped. They can't meet their budgets. I understand all that stuff. I talk to local leaders all the time of all political ilks and persuasions. They tell me all the time. Can't make the numbers work. So we finally, this one's got me riled up. You can tell. I'm going to build slow and steady. 855-616-1620 if you want to weigh in. Old National Bank talking text line. All this time, we've been trying to craft a deal, trying to get Republicans and Democrats, local leaders and state legislators, governors, to work on a plan together to kind of ease the burden. A burden, by the way, in the city and county of Milwaukee that's been exacerbated by your bad decision-making by, hold on a second, wait for it, local elected officials, i.e. pension scandals and the like. And you have the audacity, the hubris to ask for more control? Hell no. Voters decide. Now, you could argue that some of the qualifiers the state has put on you in this proposal, and it's still a proposal, aren't really fair. I would argue there are some good ones in here, though, like requiring school resource officers. Sign me up, yes. Check yes. Check in that box. Yep. Keeping local elected officials out of police policy decisions. Yep, check that box. And you want to complain that now you want to be more involved? I understand this is a give and take, but you're being given an opportunity by the state legislature and potentially the governor, we'll see, to actually make some real changes for all of the states, because this is a big package. Rural, urban, large, small, left-leaning, right-leaning, whatever qualifier you want to use. Now, the local folks, some people I have a lot of respect for, say they want the county board and the common council to decide whether to increase the local sales taxes. No. I want voters to decide. I live in Milwaukee County. if, and this is a big if, you hit the mark on these checks that I think are appropriate, more discipline in schools, more supervision and safety in schools, one, keeping, I'm being as nice as possible, knuckleheads, elected officials sometimes, from seriously impacting the performance of the Milwaukee Police Department, I think that's a good thing. All these crazy ideas I've been talking about on this show for a while now, when it comes to education, policing, come out of this effort to kind of do the right thing. But it's not the right thing. It's the wrong thing. And you've made bad decisions, and now the state is saying to you, we can help you with this. But here's what we need from you. 855-616-1620, the Old National Bank talking text line. Here's the reality for the city and county of Milwaukee. You don't accept this deal, I'm not sure you survive this when it comes to your budget. The pension problem is going to result in severe layoffs. They're already throwing around ideas about cutting the police and fire departments 25%. What person out there thinks that's a great idea? I'll wait. Just kidding. The other qualifier in this proposal is they would actually have to increase the number of officers. Again, hits the check mark. Love it. And here's the big one. This should have happened a long time ago. And if I hear one more retiree or Milwaukee County residents say, we don't like this, we want to do our own thing. That's my take. What's yours after this?
You're listening to The Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
You can have the power of Jeff Wagner. My head is getting ready to explode. In the palm of your hands, whenever and wherever you want. Politics is the art of the possible. Just look up the Jeff Wagner Show on Apple, Spotify, the WTMJ app, or wherever you get your podcasts. I would make an argument that if you're going to be offended, I think saying you are a demanding or entitled white woman is at least as offensive as calling somebody a Karen. And don't forget, you can still listen to me live from noon to 3 on WTMJ.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Differentiation Officer Brian Wickert reminding home shoppers that working with AccuNet is different and better than working with your bank. Most bank pre-approvals state they've only verified the potential home buyer's credit, but not their income or money for down payment. To us, that's just crazy. AccuNet's rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval tells the seller we've checked out all three aspects of your financial health, and that we'll pay $2,000 if our pre-approval is faulty. Banks don't do that, but they do have a lot of overhead with all their vice presidents and fancy branches. We keep overhead low, which means lower rates and closing costs that are typically $1,000 to $3,000 lower than banks. Most importantly, our loan consultants can show you and your agent how to improve your financing and appraisal contingencies so your offer has the best chance of winning in a multiple offer situation. Hey, don't settle for a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval. Click on the blue button today for your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval. That's ACCUNET.com.
Live life to the fullest. Hey, you hear that all the time, but it's easier said than done when you're in pain, right? Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. QC Kinetics gives people all around Milwaukee their quality of life by providing much-needed relief for chronic joint pain, and not just providing that relief, but doing it in the most non-invasive way possible, using regenerative treatments from your body's own natural biologics. So where is your joint pain? In your knees, your hips, shoulders, maybe your back? Well, QC Kinetics concentrates these impactful treatments right at the source of your pain, directly applying healing properties where you need them the most. No surgery, no downtime, no steroids or harmful drugs. And patients are raving about the results. So what does living life to the fullest look like for you? Well, finally being able to exercise or walk the dog, maybe enjoying time with the family, or just working your job. Whatever it is, don't wait another day. Call QC Kinetics for your complimentary consultation. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Give them a call. 414-285-3474.
This is the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
Offer made to local governments. We can help you. More money, including a sales tax increase if, big if, voters decide they favor that idea. It's yay or nay. It's not decided by, like in the case of Milwaukee County, like if Oak Creek and Franklin votes one way and West Dallas votes the other. It's all together, yay or nay. If you were to ask me right now, I would say it would pass narrowly, like 52-48. Just a back of the napkin guess. So I guess people are saying, well, why is this the way it has to be? Well, this is the leadership we have. We have a Republican-led legislature, and we have a Democratic governor. At some point, they have to find a compromise. It's divided government. Republican legislature is not going to get everything they want, clearly, because the governor won't sign it. The governor's not going to get everything that he wants, because the legislature is not going to give it to him. Take notice of the press conference last week, and there's probably more to be scheduled, of the faces you see that show up. Conservative local leaders, liberal local leaders, city of Milwaukee. Madison was in there, I think, as well. They're telling you this is something we want to do. Is it perfect? Nothing is perfect, but as a famous person once said, never let perfect be the enemy of good. It's a good development. It's a starting point for better cooperation. From the Old National Bank talk and text line. Somebody asked about the voting thing. Yes, it's yay or nay, basically, up or down. I think that's the best way to do it. Find out what, in our case, Milwaukee County thinks about it. You want to raise that sales tax? Here's how you do it. Now, a lot of people on the text line saying, well, Republicans, what about, they used to say local control. Look, they have power. They're not going to abdicate the power just because you or somebody else wants them to. They're going to pursue policy that makes sense for their party and their agenda. And if you read the paper today, they are certainly taking what the governor sent them when it comes to the biennial budget and saying basically, just striking things. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do this. Not dissimilar to last time, 2 years ago. From the 262, I'm totally supportive of giving counties and municipalities the ability to collect additional local sales tax with voter approval, and I'm glad that the state legislature finally wants to give them that authority after more than a decade of forcing them to unreasonably constrain tax revenue amidst ever-rising costs of providing necessary government services. But I fear that the people long having been sold that all government squanders money and doesn't even need more revenue might fail to approve any future referendums to their own detriment. Make the case. I used to tell aldermen in my city, if you have a great argument, make the case, it'll win the day. If your argument is not great, it probably won't pass muster. Simple as that. Great ideas gain support. Poorly crafted, bad ideas, they meander. They often go nowhere. And if your only goal is to drive your political agenda at the expense of smart fiscal policy or general policy, I'm not going to support you. This is a way to start the process moving again. And I know some of the people who do what I do don't like this, but it's a classic example of the reality when elections, I mean, the easy term is elections have consequences. They don't go your way. You don't have total control. Wisconsin likes divided governments. That's why we have the most liberal senator and one of the most conservative senators. They like that. It's a balance. That's why we have a Democratic, liberal governor and a conservative state legislature. It represents the two unique ways of looking at problems. When the smarter heads prevail, we take both sides, all their ideas, we throw them back and forth and we say, these are the best ones. This is what we're going to do based on that give and take, based on that dirty word, compromise. Question, will the additional sales tax stay in the county, or will the state take 4/5 to pave a farm road in Hayward? It will stay, most of it. From the 920. Steve, enjoying your show this morning. If you had a law firm named Belief in Reality, obviously reality would be the senior partner. No matter how much you may believe in something, that does not make it a fact. Reality is not optional. Look, I'll take that as a subtle criticism of how I approach the show. And I will tell you that since I've done this show, I've learned a lot about doing radio. I've learned a lot about how people view politics. I understand the passion. I'm not a fan of noise-making nonsense when it comes to elected officials. I know that's the popular way that some people like to consume it. Not going to be me. The reality is, I use the word on purpose, Texter. I'm more interested in actual work, not squawking about work. For example, I was listening to another radio station yesterday, and the subject of Robin Vos came up, Speaker of the Wisconsin Assembly. And the question was, is he a great politician? And one of the guests said, no, he's not. And then complained about his policy ideas. Now, I've said this before on the show. He's the most powerful politician in the state. He takes his leadership seriously, and he advocates for what he thinks is the correct policies. Does he win every time? No. Is he wrong? Absolutely. Gableman, failure, waste of money. I still acknowledge those and say he's the most powerful politician in the state. And we have a governor, by the way, who I think Speaker Robin Vos is more powerful than, because his budgets, along with the Senate led by Devin LeMahieu, is the one that's going to be signed by the governor, not the governor's. Budget has power. You may not like, Texter, the way I view reality and my beliefs, but I'm coming from a perspective of private sector 28 years, public sector 9 years, and 6 years doing this. Pretty balanced. Managed 60 remote employees at one point in my private sector experience. Managed a $20 million plus budget as a local leader. I know that talking heads on radio and TV pretend they know it all about how government works and what we should do. Just between you and me, Texter, they don't. Because they don't have the experience to understand what they're talking about. You could read till your eyes bleed on whatever topic or concern you're trying to be educated on. Real life experience matters. That's why my beliefs and reality are a big part of this show. Take a break.
You're listening to the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ. Everything you need to know on your way home.
Both officers and the suspect have been identified in the fatal traffic stop in Barron County.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News with John McCure.
At the end of the day, you lost by double digits for the second time. You really ought to know how to lose by now.
Sandy Max.
This really is Louisville's time, and I don't know how long it's going to take to heal from this mass shooting.
And Greg Matzik.
13-0, whether it's 1987 or 2023, is spectacular.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on WTMJ.
Let's take a minute of R&R. R&R Insurance, that is. R&R Insurance provides employee benefits to all of us here at Good Karma Brands. Business insurance is getting more complex these days. To share some knowledge, here's Jeff Salasinski, VP of Insurance Operations at R&R Insurance.
Hi, Vince. Today's commercial insurance market is more complex than ever, and it demands the sharp focus of your insurance advisor. If your agent or broker has been bought or sold in the last few years, their focus is likely on their future, not yours. There are demands from the new private equity owner to reduce expenses and uncertainty about the future or when the IPO will be ready. The impact this M&A has on your business is disruptive. Does any of this benefit you, the client? I'm not so sure.
So, Jeff, what's the solution?
With 48 years of stability, local family ownership, and deep industry knowledge, R&R Insurance will be focused on you, the client, not the progress and payout of an acquisition. And the best part? We're not for sale. At R&R Insurance, we know business insurance.
That's Jeff from R&R Insurance. Thanks for the great info, Jeff.
Do you know that we have over 8 different ways to install a replacement window? Most companies only have one.
Not all homes are built the same, look the same, or even have the same old windows to remove. So how can you only have one way to install them? The answer is simple. It's quick and easy. Well, that's not us, and it will never be us. You can have peace of mind that the install we recommend is the one that will last a lifetime. If you want your windows installed only once and done right the first time, then call Abby today. And if somebody asks you if you know a guy in the business, you can say no, but I know a girl.
When your car or truck needs service, you should take it to a specialist. I'm Jim Token, president of the Auto Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee. At a member, new car dealers have factory-warranted parts, the latest diagnostic equipment, and certified manufacturer technicians. Plus, their prices are as low or lower than independent shops, even on routine things like oil changes and tire service. Knowing all that, why would you ever consider going anywhere other than an Adam member dealer?
Now, more of the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
Coming up after the bottom of the hour news, conversation with State Representative David Steffen from northeastern Wisconsin. A new bill looking for co-sponsors has to do with social media. I talked about this extensively last week and a little bit yesterday with both Anna and Jesse and Carol. It would stop children under 18 from using their accounts between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. Huge fan of this. I'll say that at the outset. Huge fan. The time has come. We have to take some real steps. I understand a lot of people say, this is a parent's decision. Don't get in the way. There's a lot of things we do in this country that intervene when parents don't make the right decisions. This should be one of them, given rates of depression, suicides among our young people, declining performance, not getting enough sleep. I'm a big fan. Some people may say it's draconian or oppressive. I say no. Representative David Steffen will join us at 10:35 after the news. Our news time is 10:30. We don't have a news person. So I'm going to talk for a little bit till we get a news person. How about that? So somebody asked me this question yesterday. Why do I think this is important? Because of what I just told you. We are looking at a problem in this country that is getting away from us quickly. I had two younger teammates in this area yesterday, and they were talking about this. They supported more strict limits on how social media interacts with very young people. Whether it's 14, whether it's 16, whether it's 18. It's time to have those conversations, and we will be joined by Representative David Steffen from the Green Bay area, northeastern Wisconsin, after the news. It's 10:31 from our Breaking News Center. Eric Bilstead.
Green Bay Packers quarterback Jordan Love has agreed to a one-year contract extension, keeps him with the team this year and next. UW-Madison says it is aware of a video that's been shared online which appears to show a student using racist language, the woman yelling racial slurs. School says the video doesn't represent or reflect UW-Madison's values. The U.S. Surgeon General says loneliness poses health risks as deadly as smoking, costing the health industry billions of dollars annually, and TV and movie writers declaring that they are striking for the first time in 15 years as Hollywood deals with a walkout, potentially widespread ramifications from the Writers Guild of America, which is now on strike. The first TV shows to be affected would be the late-night TV shows, including Saturday Night Live. Time now for news about your money in the WTMJ NX Wealth Management market update. Right now, the Dow is down 590 to 33,461. The Nasdaq down 187 to 12,025, and the S&P also down 74 to 4,093. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button today. From the WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic Center, 94 eastbound, Highway 16. Through the Zoo Interchange and into the city right now is clear all the way in. It's on time at 17. 4145 southbound, Highway Q to the Zoo. Delay free, it's 15. Full freeway speeds from 43 south from Brown Deer Road into the city. Same with 94 north from Layton into the Marquette. Also looking good at 7 minutes.
Traffic is sponsored by Hall Mazda Milwaukee. Visit hallmazdamilwaukee.com.
While you're navigating the roads as quickly and safely as possible, if you see something we should know about, call the WTMJ Hall Mazda Traffic Tip Line at 414-238-9329.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast. Cloudy today. Slight chance for some rain. Windy, a high of 48. Tonight, breezy, a low of 36. For your Wednesday, sunny, a high of 58 inland. Thursday, sunny, a high of 65. Friday, sunny, a high of 66. Slight chance for rain on Friday. Saturday, sunny, and a high of 65 degrees inland. Right now in Milwaukee, 45. I'm Eric Bilstead, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:33.
Hi, I'm attorney David Gruber. After an accident, you need a trusted winning team on your side. For more than 30 years, Gruber Law Offices has helped Wisconsin families get the results they deserve. If you've been injured, call our firm today for a free consultation. We're available 24/7. Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of Euro Milwaukee Brewers. One call, that's all.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here. A company's success is tied to its employees' success. To get the best out of your people, consider LAK Group's coaching services. Their diverse group of coaches offer a meaningful balance of expertise and passion. The results of the coaching are unmistakable: increased self-awareness, better critical thinking, and improved leadership skills. Find out how LAK Group's coaching can help your company. Visit transformingcareers.com. LAK Group. Discover your human advantage.
Planning that summer vacation list? Road trip, hiking and kayaking, beer and festivals. Accomplish it all by visiting Beloit this summer. The city of Beloit features a memorable foodie scene, seasonal outdoor experiences, vibrant entertainment, culturally unique arts, and much more. On July 15th, Beloit hosts the Lager Than Life Beer Festival. Golf, hit the trails, or float down the river on a tube. Check out Wisconsin's second largest farmers market. Enjoy decadent local dining in downtown Beloit. Plan your next weekend getaway today. Visit Beloit.com.
Jeff and Roxanne here with Rhino Shield Ceramic Coating. Never paint your house again.
Rhino Shield will keep 100% of the rain and 90% of the heat from penetrating your house.
And it looks just like paint, but will last 5 times longer, and it's guaranteed for 25 years.
And it still comes in any color, as long as it's your wife's favorite.
Get 25% off their 25-year warranty if you book by the 25th. Call 262-900-4055 or visit rhinoshield.com.
Go Rhino Shield! Now, more of the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
You're listening to the show. I've been talking about this a lot. Social media, its role in our children's lives, adult lives, how we interact with each other. And I've said for a long time, we've got to address these concerns. And my next guest is trying to do just that. He's the representative for the Assembly District number 4, Green Bay area Republican. David Steffen joins us on the phone. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So I was reading through some of the press reports. I want to have you kind of lay out what you're proposing. This is not the first time you've proposed this, but it's looking at the responsibility when it comes to social media and especially our young people. So I'll let you kind of lay out what you're proposing.
Yeah, thank you. And first of all, this is the first time in Wisconsin this has been introduced at the state level.
Okay.
So this is an effort to empower parents so they can protect their children as they interact with social media. The average amount of time that teenagers spend between the ages of 13 and 18 online is 9 hours a day. They are marinating in social media content. And the result of that has been a dramatic increase in depression, anxiety, and self-harm, especially amongst teenagers. And to date, social media companies have exempted themselves from all responsibility, saying this is too big, we're too large, and so you can't hold us accountable. I want to change that. And so part of it's going to be putting in some controls that parents will have direct access to. So all teenagers, anyone under the age of 18, their parents will be required to have access to their accounts and also have setting options that they control. So they will be able to control whether that child has a curfew set in place between 10 and 7 a.m., whether they have access to individuals that are not part of their network. So outsiders cannot contact them, which is the leading cause of sexual sex trafficking and drug trafficking online. And turning down the advertising, the AI-driven aggressive advertising that is on social media. Those are 3 of the big things. These are parental controls. Think of them as settings just like you have on your phone or your TV that only the parent will have the ability to turn on or off.
What are you hearing from parents that you've talked to about this bill? What are they saying to you?
Well, that's where this all came from, is from parents who, I've had parents who are saying, can we just please ban it all? because they feel like they're taking a sausage to a gunfight. They are just totally outgunned, outarmed. They have nowhere to go for recourse. And so if we put these in place, these restrictions, these controls in place, that again, they will have the ability to be in charge of, they will finally have an opportunity to be engaged. Also, for the first time, is that if there is an issue with a social media company that is not adhering to these, the Department of Consumer Protection at the state level will have the opportunity to find these social media companies. Finally, there'll be some organization that'll be on equal footing of a social media company, that being the state of Wisconsin, to fight bad actors, bad actions by social media companies.
I know that the governor has banned TikTok on government-owned devices. Do you think the governor is going to be responsive to this proposal, this bill?
Well, I can tell you that other efforts that are being proposed around this nation have received bipartisan support, including Utah, which my bill has a lot of similarities to. And I've already reached out to the Attorney General's office, the Governor's office, Department of Consumer Protection here in Wisconsin. I'm looking to work with them. If they feel there's some things that need to be adjusted with the bill, as well as input from parents, I'm willing to do that. But I think it's important that we take at least a first step to providing some opportunities for our parents to have some controls, some protections for their children.
I know you're looking for co-sponsors. Has there been a reaction from your peers? Anybody signing on with you?
So today was actually the first full day of it being around. I'm getting a lot of phone calls. A lot of people are stopping in my office and asking, hey, can you tell me more about this? How is this going to work? This is a pretty big deal for us to try to take on these massive companies, and they obviously have political influence as well. You know, a lot of people would rather the federal government take this on, but here's the bottom line. We have yet to see Congress move forward on this issue. I can't wait anymore. My parents in my district can't wait any longer. And so I want us to take a step. Let's get engaged on this issue. Let's start the process of holding accountable the social media companies that are damaging our children.
Representative David Steffen, Republican from Green Bay, joining us on the phone. Big picture, we're talking about increased rates of depression among students, lack of sleep, not being ready for school. The real tragedy is young people bullying each other, cyberbullying, and in some cases, increased rates of teen suicide. This has real-life implications, and I don't think a lot of people understand that sometimes.
So the body of research that has been developed over the first 15 to 20 years of social media is overwhelming. It's not even disputed by the social media companies. And I've had discussions since over the last week with Google and Meta. And essentially they're saying, yeah, you know what, there's problems, but it's such a big problem. And what can we do to control any of this? And I don't find that to be very compelling. So the research from places like Mayo Clinic and Toledo University, and there's all kinds of organizations that have indicated that the amount of time plus content has really been a negative impact on our children. So we have to take this first step. We've had a 15-year experiment in this regard, and there's a lot of positives that have come out from social media, from connecting and educating and entertaining the public. There's also been some significant downside, and it's about time we have some controls for children only as we move forward.
Representative David Steffen, I'm a big fan of action plans as a former local leader, and I always encourage and celebrate leaders at any level who actually come up with ideas that can be helpful. I think this is one really important first step, so I applaud you for doing that. Before I let you go, I want to just get your sense of where the budget conversation's going. You feeling confident we'll have a budget crafted fairly soon?
I do. The good news is that, while there's some details are being hammered out between the Assembly and Senate, I believe we're going to be able to get something together in short order. We're going to be putting together one that invests in our priorities, schools, and we're going to also be doing quite a bit for local governments. Those are going to be two of the biggest priorities in this upcoming budget. The good news is that we have extra money to return back to the taxpayers as well. So I'm hopeful that at least 50% of our budget surplus can be returned back to the people. So I am very optimistic that by middle of June, we'll have a very sound, fiscally responsible budget on the governor's desk.
Representative David Steffen, representing the area of Green Bay, Wisconsin. Thanks for taking the time. I know it was on short notice. I'm glad you came on today.
Thank you so much, sir.
Absolutely. Representative David Steffen, as I said, your chance to weigh in. Some really, I think important ideas here. Restricting children, and they are children, from using social media accounts between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. I understand some parents' heads are exploding because they don't regulate or review their kids' social media use, but I think this is big stuff, and I think this is a important first step in sort of taking a serious issue and addressing it with real-life action. But I want to hear what you have to say. 855-616-1620. We'll do that after the break on WTMJ.
This is the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
She's been praised for a technique that is bold and modern, yet restrained. And now you can experience the astonishing virtuosity of pianist Joyce Young as she performs Mozart's epic Piano Concerto No. 24 with the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra May 5th and 6th at the Bradley Symphony Center. Only a limited number of tickets remain to hear this audience favorite, so call the box office right now to reserve yours at 414-291-7605 or online at mso.org. Yaniv Denur will conduct the MSO in this program, which also features Dvorak's evocative tone poem In Nature's Realm and Ludoslavsky's folkloric Concerto for Orchestra. In Nature's Realm, Joyce Young plays Mozart runs May 5th and 6th at the Bradley Symphony Center. Visit mso.org for tickets or call 414-291-7605.
He's a former coach with two sons who played professional basketball. Satch Sullinger's a competitive individual, but his golf game was suffering because of painful joints.
Right, that's real important, the golf game. Right, as we get older, we create these bad habits because we're relegated to hit a certain way.
QC Kinetics used regenerative treatments, all natural healing properties from Satch's own body, to restore those damaged joints and get his golf game back on track.
QC Kinetics regenerative medicine is regenerating me, all natural, and that's what I'm about. I'm going to tell everybody why I'm better.
Oh, and by the way, looks like the competitive Satch is back.
We're all in the same boat, and I'm getting better, and I'm watching them stay old.
Go to QCkinetics.com. Get relief and your game back. Call for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
The Midwest's best baseball and softball training facility and retail center is here in New Berlin, and it's ready for you and your team. From little leaguers to hardcore players and trainers, this is the place you'll want to be.
You can't beat Burghardt. What's the way to build your wealth?
I want to talk about annuities and variable life insurance policies. And I'm going to come right out and say that I've never been a fan of either. In fact, in over 30 years, I have rarely recommended annuities to clients. And in that same time, I've never recommended a variable life insurance policy. Now, it's always a matter of opinion, and there are two sides to every story. I just want to make sure that you've heard both sides for both options. So if you're looking at those types of products, give us a call, because it's prudent to hear all sides. At the very least, we can give you the pros and cons and help you make a good decision. I'm Jim Cantrell with Financial Strategies, Inc., a fee-only, comprehensive financial planning firm, and I believe we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to financialstrategiesinc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial strategies, a wiser way to build your wealth.
Now, more of the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
Thanks to State Rep David Steffen from the Green Bay area for coming on and talking about his proposal, his bill. Got to look at social media. Some people on the text line said, "Ooh, strict, big brother." I don't think so. If you want to address problems in our society, it requires action. Now, whether this is the final version of whatever this bill would be, if it became law, hard to say. We'll see what the reception is. But I understand the fascination with social media, but I have the text that kind of speaks to what I've been talking about. 262. Former fifth grade teacher here from a northwestern Milwaukee suburb. I regularly had 10-year-olds unable to function during the school day. And they tell me things like, I was up till 3 a.m. last night watching YouTube or playing something that I don't know what it is. I would inform parents, and they were always surprised. Like, take your kid's phone away at bedtime. It's not that complicated. Kids are going to make fake accounts with fake birthdays. I don't know how you can stop it with regulation. Parents need be the ones taking charge, but they won't. I get that a lot. You can't enforce it. This is where you need cooperation between the social media platforms and parents and lawmakers. There are certainly things we can do. I'm going to use the driver's license driving analogy. The way we administer, or we don't administer social media now, it's like a free-for-all. It's like if we had young people, their parents said, he's 12, I took him out, he's good, he can drive the car. But we don't allow that. We say 16. With a learner's permit. Temps. And then a driver's license at 18. So, whatever we're talking about, this isn't any different. Just because it's on a digital platform, it has to be treated differently. When we have problems, using the driving analogy, if we had 12-year-olds out there driving, we say, no, that doesn't make any sense. Why would we allow a younger child to have complete unlimited access to something on the internet, which could endanger their lives? Where people prey upon young people because they are vulnerable. They make bad decisions, just like adults do, to be honest. Because that's what growing up, that's what being a child is. You learn, hopefully, from your mistakes. From the 414, my kids are older. I would not allow TVs in their rooms. Yes, there were rules. Another texter said yes on parent social media laws. Utah requires state ID to access adult websites. Don't Utah, my Wisconsin. Why so concerned about the adult websites? Just a thought. But we're not talking about that. As much as the texter doesn't like Utah, they're at least trying to do something. As you can tell if you listen to the show, I'm not a big fan of the, throwing our hands up and saying price of freedom. Not a fan of that. Freedom's important, but everything has limits. And probably more importantly, everything has responsibilities. You show me the positives of allowing unlimited access 24/7, 365 to social media platforms that have inappropriate material, that have people who prey on young people, who arrange meetings under the guise of, I'm just some young kid, when it's actually some old creepy guy meeting them, in some cases with dire consequences. I think we have to start thinking about this stuff, and I encourage leaders like David Steffen, Republican leader from Green Bay, to at least say something about it. I hope that other representatives sponsor this bill. I'm not sure why this is so hard. This isn't even a partisan issue, in my opinion. It's not left or right, Democrat, Republican. Why would it be? Protecting kids is important, whether that's social media, whether that's how they drive, when they drink, who they hang out with, how we teach them, all kind of related, don't you think? We'll take a quick break here.
This is the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
There are heroes among us who run toward danger rather than away from it. We call them first responders. This is Steve Scafidi. WTMJ is partnering with Educators Credit Union to honor police officers, firefighters, and countless others who work every day to protect our families and loved ones. Do you have a first responder you would like to nominate? Go to WTMJ.com, click on the Salute to Service banner, and share your story. We'll bring you the incredible stories during Salute to Service month in May.
Steve Scafidi's Salute to Service with Educators Credit Union. Details now at WTMJ.com.
Hey, this is Steve Scafidi for Advent. I had some snoring issues that kept my wife up at night. That led to poor sleep and a lot of tired mornings on the radio, and nobody wants that, trust me. Put it simply, my nose wasn't working the way it should. I decided to go to Advent for a quick 30-minute visit, one of their great facilities, talk to a bunch of their doctors. They really put me at ease. After a really simple sleep study at home, in my own bed, they determined the root cause of my problem had to do with my sinuses and nasal passages in my breathing triangle. I didn't even know I had a breathing triangle, so I went to see Advent. After a short procedure done in office, I'm back to breathing well, and my wife and I are both back to sleeping through the whole night. The best sleep we've ever had, that could be you. If you struggle with restless nights like I did, take the time time to see how Advent can help. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your life and your nights a whole lot better, go to AdventKnows.com, schedule an appointment today. Because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Find your next great hire with Indeed. Their hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in the same place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
I'm Brett Matchke, and you're due for service.
Richlands. Kessler's is America's largest employee-owned diamond store.
It's the diamond store where the owners think like you do.
As shoppers, we want better prices and more choices.
That's why we give you better prices and more choices.
We don't try to choose for you. We let you choose.
You can choose a diamond from a diamond mine.
A diamond as old as the earth itself.
You can choose a created diamond from a plasma chamber.
A diamond as new and fresh and sparkling as springtime.
And now you can choose a flickering firelight diamond.
Flickering firelight diamonds sparkle with a rich and regal golden glow.
At Kessler's, you choose from 3 different kinds of diamonds.
3 different kinds of diamonds.
Earth diamonds from diamond mines.
Created diamonds from plasma chambers.
And flickering firelight diamonds with a rich, regal golden glow.
We like to have choices, so we give you choices.
Kessler's is the diamond store where the owners think like you do.
Welcome to Kessler's.
Find the Kessler's nearest you at KesslersDiamonds.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. Now, more of the Steve Scafidi Show.
During the break, I just pulled up the Mayo Clinic's website, and I looked at the impact of social media on teens or tweens. Now, there's some benefits, right? They can improve their communication skills somewhat. Self-expression, those kind of things can develop naturally on those kind of platforms. Expose them to current events. I get all that stuff. Here's where it gets negative. Sleep disruption. We know that young people's brains are still developing and forming. Sleep is important. Long, uninterrupted sleep. Distractions throughout the day when they're supposed to be learning. Rumors spreading, bullying. A 2019 study of 6,500 12 to 15-year-olds in the U.S. Those who spent more than 3 hours a day, what did we just hear from the representative? 9? Even higher than that, 12 in some cases, have a heightened risk for mental health problems. Another 2019 study, excessive use between 13 and 16 years old, social media, predicted poor mental health and low self-esteem. Why do those matter? Because that drives that disconnect between young people becoming responsible adults. We get more bad parents, more bad decision-making, because we haven't equipped young people with what they need. The focus is more on social media, the TikToks and the like, versus the educational piece and just living a normal kid life. I understand some people don't think this is a serious topic, but I think you're wrong. The proliferation of social media has disrupted politics. I mean, I can't go a day without seeing an elected official, congressional level, state level, who's just not making a fool of themselves, who's out there making a fool of themselves on social media. And that's not leadership. But that shows you how saturated our culture is with social media. It's everything. And I'm arguing that the negative is now seriously outweighing the positives. And I'm a fan of Twitter. Use it a lot for work. But I just said this to one of my teammates the other day. If I wasn't doing what I do, I would rarely look at any of that stuff. It's not that important. But we've given young people this idea that it's everything. It drives everything. And that extra weight that we've put on social media and the desire to be popular and snarky and fun and witty and wise overshadows everything that's probably a lot more important, like hard work, ethics, just being nice to each other. It's an interesting topic, and I encourage you to find out more about it. You can Google the bill from Representative David Steffen and find out what it is, who's signing on, and where it goes. It's not going to go away. The problem persists for all the reasons I just laid out. The news is next on WTMJ.
You're listening to the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
All Brewers games are on sale now. Next up, the Crew battles the Royals for a weekend duel. Friday, May 12th through Sunday, the 14th. Fulfill your Jedi destiny at Star Wars Night on Saturday, the 13th. And receive a Luke Skywalker bobblehead with purchase of a special ticket package. Plus, take home a one-of-a-kind Brewers wristlet for 10,000 moms on Mother's Day. Sunday, May 14th. Presented by American Family Insurance. Get your seats today at brewers.com/promotions.
Cut through the clutter with Axiom, the weekly newsletter from Annex Wealth Management. Subscribe today for 7 insights built and delivered to you every Sunday. It'll help you navigate the markets and the things that affect your money. The Axiom. Sign up at annexwealth.com.
Siding Unlimited. Named the best window installers, not just here, but in the whole USA. Get the best. Siding Unlimited. 3-time winner as America's best window installer. For windows, you call Siding Unlimited first and directly. SidingUnlimited.com.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Looks like these guys are having a rocky start.
Swinging a broken bat liner that is going to be caught with a diving backhanded grab by Joey Weaver to end the inning.
Coverage of the Brewers in Colorado starts tonight at 7:05. We are the home of the Brewers. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 11 o'clock, it is 45 degrees, going to go up to a high of 48 today. Still a slight chance for some rain. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Eric Bilstead. The U.S. Surgeon General calls it an epidemic plaguing the U.S., loneliness.
Dr. Megan Moreno, a chairperson for the UW-Madison School of Medicine, says there's a divide for adolescents when it comes to what this loneliness looks like.
Some are lonely in their offline worlds, and the online world is where they're not lonely, and for some, it's vice versa.
Dr. Moreno, however, says fixing an issue like this has to be an all-hands-on-deck approach.
So making sure we're giving kids the opportunity to engage and reduce their loneliness in places where they're comfortable.
Finn Askin, WTMJ News.
Social media companies would have to verify the age of users and get parental permission for children to open accounts under a bill being unveiled now by State Representative David Steffen.
So they will be able to control whether that child has a curfew set in place between 10 and 7 a.m., whether they have access to individuals that are not part of their network, and turning down the AI-driven aggressive advertising.
Steffen tells WTMJ's Steve Scafidi that parents could opt out of all the requirements if they would so choose. An interstate in central Illinois, I-55, is open. This after a deadly dust storm caused a 70-vehicle pileup on that roadway Monday. 6 people killed, including a woman from Franklin, Shirley Harley, an 88-year-old from Franklin, killed in that crash. Writers for many TV shows are on the picket line today after their union failed to come to an agreement with a variety of different studios and streaming services. It's the first time in more than a dozen years that the Writers Guild has gone on strike. Dominic Patton is a senior editor for Deadline, says the writers are demanding better pay, especially since shows are now offered on streaming platforms.
Writers now are no longer paid as much as they used to be. They're paid for shorter series, and they're not seeing any of the residuals that you used to see back in the old days.
As of now, the first shows that will be impacted by this would be the late-night TV shows, the Fallons, if you will. Sports, traffic, and weather next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:02.
We all share the same roads, but when an accident happens, we don't always share the same consequences. Big trucks can cause big damage. Injuries can be severe and may require a lifetime of care and compensation. Call Gruber Law Offices today. We can help you from the safety and comfort of your own home. Our virtual sign-up process is quick and easy. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Tune in on Sundays at 10 a.m. for the AccuNet Mortgage and Realty Show.
Join AccuNet's Brian and David Wickert for the most up-to-date information on mortgage trends, along with timely news on the real estate market. The housing market is in flux, but the national headlines don't often fit local market conditions. Find out what's really happening on the front lines of real estate and mortgage financing in Wisconsin and make better decisions by tuning in every Sunday at 10 a.m. The AccuNet Mortgage and Realty Show with Brian and David Wickert on WTMJ.
Hey, it's 620 WTMJ's Brian D. Summer. It is right around the corner. You know what that means. Graduations, weddings, all of the fun events that come along with the sunshine. Make sure you have your best smile on display when you're out and about. And for all the photos you're going to be taking, go see my guy, Dr. James Michaels at Oconomowoc Dental Care. Whether it's a regular routine cleaning, a simple exam, a more complex procedure, a teeth whitening, Dr. Michaels and the team at Oconomowoc Dental Care are the best. They're going to make you as comfortable as possible while you're in the chair and give both you and your family an amazing smile. How do I know? He's my dentist. He takes care of me just like he's going to take great care of you. At Oconomowoc Dental Care, affordable quality dentistry is no longer a dream. It is the reality. Dr. Michaels' fantastic staff can help you out with a no-interest payment plan. We all have to go to the dentist, so do not put it off any longer. Go see my guy, Dr. James Michaels at Oconomowoc Dental Care.
The Milwaukee Brewers are back in action tonight following their day off yesterday, and they begin a 6-game road trip in Colorado. The Crew will have 3 against the Rockies and 3 against the San Francisco Giants before returning home next week. For tonight, it's Freddie Peralta on the mound for the Brew Crew with the first pitch scheduled for 7:40. You can tune in right here on WTMJ, the home of the Milwaukee Brewers, beginning at 7:05. And over to the NFL, where there's breaking news out of Green Bay, where the Packers and Jordan Love have agreed on a 1-year contract extension worth up to $22.5 million. That does include a $13.5 million fully guaranteed deal. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
From the WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic Center, 94 eastbound, Highway 16. All the way into downtown right now is looking good getting into the city. That's a 17-minute ride. 4145 south, no issues there from Highway Q to the zoo. 43 southbound Brown Deer Road into the center of the city, full freeway speed. Same 494 north from Layton into the Marquette. It is 7.
Traffic is sponsored by Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee. Milwaukee Mattress, where top quality mattresses are priced hundreds less than premium national mattress brands. Found exclusively at Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, and downtown Milwaukee.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast today. Still plenty of clouds and breezy this afternoon. We'll see a high of about 48, so running about 10 degrees cooler than average. As we get into tonight, we fall to 36 with clearing skies. Still breezy, though winds will let up by daybreak. Tomorrow, mostly sunny up to 53. Thursday, mostly sunny up to 57 by the lakefront, but low to mid-60s inland. Friday, partly sunny, slight chance for a shower, high of 60. And on Saturday, mostly sunny, high of 62 by the lakefront, but 68 inland. I'm meteorologist Marissa Walls with Storm Team Forecast on WTMJ.
Right now in Madison, 50 degrees, Green Bay 43, Waukesha 46, Milwaukee 46. I'm Eric Bilstead, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 11:06.
Breaking down the biggest stories, talking about what really matters, and bringing you the biggest forum to let your voice be heard. Now, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue, here's Steve Scafidi.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I was thinking about this last night when I saw the news. CNN, cable news network, in an effort to, I think, pump up their ratings, they have announced that the former President Donald Trump will participate in a CNN presidential town hall next week in New Hampshire. Site of one of the early primaries, right? Caitlin Collins, I think she's the White House correspondent for CNN, will be the moderator. You're not going to have 10 moderators like you usually do? Refreshing. Be 8 p.m. May 10th. We'll feature the former president taking questions from New Hampshire Republicans and undeclared voters. The more interesting questions will come from the undeclared, trust me. On the 2024 presidential primary contest. So, why did I bring this up? Because, as I said this with Joe and Bill on Friday. I've said it before that, but I reiterated it on Friday. More and more, it seems more likely that the matchup in 2024 will be the one we just had in 2020. Joe Biden, Donald Trump. In this case, the roles reverse, right? Trump was president, Biden was the challenger. In this case, Biden president, Trump the challenger. This shouldn't surprise anybody. Now, my opinions on Trump are well known. Didn't vote for him. Supported some of his policy ideas and his initiatives. There's a lot that I don't like. But set that aside. It's not about me. It's about you. And what your thoughts are on 2024. I don't, at this moment, with Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida, tanking in his efforts to challenge a Trump nomination, doesn't look good, doesn't look like a leader. I know a lot of people are fans of his. Just doesn't look like he's ready for prime time, which is represented in the polls that I've seen, which show Trump now out to a pretty strong lead. 60+% of Americans want him to be the candidate, apparently, amongst Republicans. I've said I don't think he has any chance of winning again, but anything is possible. Didn't think, as did most other talkers in 2016, most people didn't think Trump would win that one. They thought Hillary Clinton had it until she didn't. So my question is, one, will you watch this town hall? I'll probably watch. I'm curious how much they will challenge the former president on the words he uses, the actions he's made. Pending investigations, which, depending on who you listen to, what network, goes from nothing to see here to multiple indictments soon to come. So one, will you watch? And two, I guess the question is, what scenario do you see where it's not Trump, Biden 2.0? I don't see any scenarios because there's no real challengers to break up that match. And to be honest, Republicans seem to want Trump again. I would argue that's a dumb decision, but I'm certainly willing to hear your take on it. And it doesn't sound like there's going to be any serious challenges to Joe Biden. We saw Kennedy now challenging. I watched him on Smirkanish on Saturday, Michael Smirkanish show on CNN. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. talking about why he's running. And again, he's polling in the high teens, 20s. But this is Biden's race. Unless, again, barring some unforeseen circumstance. So 855-616-1620. Will you watch Trump on CNN to hear what he has to say? What questions they ask? And two, give me a scenario where it's not Trump, Biden 2.0, because I just absolutely do not see it. For the 262 on the old National Bank talking text, I don't like either candidate, but when I look back on the 4 years under Trump and the years currently under Biden, my life was better under Trump. So I'll have to suck it up my pride and vote for him. A lot of people agree with you. No question. Because I do not want to see another 4 years under Biden. Steve, when you come out and admit you're a flaming leftist Democrat, you know, I read it because I love when people challenge me, but two, I can count on like one hand Democrats I voted for in my voting career, so you can think what you want to think. How you vote has more relevance. What Republicans don't like and conservatives don't like about me is I actually question the things they do. I'm not of the mindset that just basically nods, reads the party talking points. There's all kinds of places you can go for that. What good is that really? So you're all in a room listening and you're like nodding your head in agreement. What's the point of that? Believe it or not, Republicans, just like Democrats, come up with some dumb ideas. More often than they come up with good ideas. Texter for the 262, will not watch. Steve, they both have to live that long yet. They aren't getting any younger. True. There's not that much different. What's it, two or 3 years? They're both really old. Last time I checked, they're both really old white men. 262, I won't be watching. I will catch the highlights after it's all said and done. Trump's a disgrace, but yes, I have to agree it will likely be Biden versus Trump, which Biden will win in a landslide. That's the really important thing for me. Give me, as a Republican voter, traditionally, give me a Republican I can vote for. That's all I'm asking. All I need is a Republican who at least has a semblance of dignity that I can vote for. Why is that so hard? 414, no, I will not watch. I won't waste my time on him. 920 will not watch. Want to vote Republican but can't support Trump. Lots of those as well. I'll watch from the 912 because I love a train wreck. DeSantis could have won, but he's more worried about Disney. He's afraid to say Trump's name, like 99% of leaders in the GOP. We keep electing cowards. Trump 2024, let's go. Steve, anyone who calls themselves an American is willing to vote for Donald Trump is a hypocrite. What was your take on RFK Jr.? I watched the interview with Michael Smerconish. He seems shaky to me, just nervous and shaky. Maybe that's just his style. I'm not really familiar with him. He's been tied a lot to anti-vax efforts, which he's not unique to that. There's plenty of people, including our own senior senator from Wisconsin, who's leading the cause. He's a guy that certainly challenges the institutions of government, which is kind of surprising, given his family name. From the 414, one might be in a nursing home, the other one in jail. I guess that's the qualifier that makes this not a reality, is what happens with all these indictments. They seem real. Whether it's Georgia and election interference, or the larger one, probably the more important one, January 6th, documents coming out of the Department of Justice. Special counsel really, really digging deep, spent, 5-6 hours with Vice President Mike Pence on his answers to how the president conducted himself on January 6th, 2021. It's a fascinating case study. All these things that we're talking about will be in textbooks in 5 to 10 years. Hopefully with the prism of time and finality, we'll know how this all plays out. I just cannot see a scenario on this day, this 2nd of May, 2023, where it's not Trump Biden 2.0. More of your texts. Welcome to join by the phone as well, 855-616-1620, the old National Bank talk and text line. Will you watch Trump on CNN next week? And do you have a alternate slate of candidates that'll show up on our ballot coming up in November of 2024? More after this.
This is the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
The voice of this call.
Swing a line drive, deep center, and it over the fence.
And this one.
Here's the throw home, not in time, and the Brewers win it in 11 innings.
And of course, this one.
Christian Yelich, third deck. Holy smoke!
Chef Levering is on Brewers 360 every Wednesday morning at 7:45 on Wisconsin's Morning News, presented by Holiday Automotive and Outdoor Living Unlimited.
Well-changing question. Are you keeping as much of your investment gains as possible? High taxes can erode returns quickly, so you need a tax-optimized portfolio. At Creative Planning, our money managers and specialists work together to make sure your portfolio and wealth are managed in a tax-efficient manner. It's what you keep that really matters. Why not give your wealth a second look? Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
Leroy 71's backed up. What's your 20? Over.
Olivia needs more drivers for her trucking company to go the extra
We've
mile.
got 3 more stops to make.
She wants to hitch a team to drive business forward.
Lots of double nickels on the 169. You know what I'm over? This driver shortage.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel vPro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Now, more of the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
Texter raises an interesting point on our conversation about Trump-Biden 2.0 in 2024. My two greatest fears from the 715 that the two nominees are Trump and Biden. Two is that Trump wins the nomination and then something happens and the GOP is left with no one. It's that something happens question that we don't know. I guess like another question could be, would you vote for someone who is facing an indictment for election tampering, interference, sedition, treason, conspiracy related to January 6th? Would you still vote for somebody? Trust me, there's a huge chunk of Trump's supporters who will. Mark joins us from Milton. Welcome to the show, Mark.
First-time caller. I love your show. I've been listening to you ever since I've been retired. I just absolutely love your show.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate that.
Yeah, you bet. So I will not be watching Trump on CNN. I probably will listen to the highlights later on. And for me, I mean, I'm a moderate conservative, and I can't believe that there is that many Republicans and independents that would vote for Trump even to get into to pass all the primaries, because I'll be voting for anybody Republican during the primaries that is not Trump. I can't believe there's that number of people that are going to see him get in.
Yeah, I think first of all, it's great insight, because what we're seeing now is a national poll. But as you know, as somebody who's been looking at politics for a long time like me, those don't matter when it comes to state-by-state primaries. The only question really remaining is, if Trump stays as the leading national poller, does he have the same kind of popularity state by state? And again, who's going to challenge him? Whether that's going to be Ron DeSantis, who's shown in a individual state polling he may have that power still, even though he's declining nationally, Nikki Haley, and some other names that may get thrown in. I'm hopeful that there's alternatives, but like you, Mark, I'm sitting here today saying, I can't believe this is the reality, but it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's going to happen whether we like it or not.
Yeah, well, I can tell you right now, I wouldn't be voting for DeSantis either. He's turning out to be too much of a dictator, and we don't need any more like that. So I'm hoping like Asa Hutchinson or Nikki Haley or Tim Scott, that they can really come up there and show the country that, hey, this is a good alternative.
Yeah, thanks for
the
for the call, Mark. Great insight, and thanks for the listen as well. Appreciate that, calling from Milton, Wisconsin. Look, it's not over. We haven't even started the primaries yet. We're still a long way from counting the numbers. The good thing is, because of all that hard work, we should have an election integrity that we don't have to worry about. I'm being facetious. We had that last time, but a bunch of people pretended we didn't. And again, just to fact check yourself. So the only Republican they were trying to cheat was Donald Trump. All the other races were good, and they somehow managed to figure that out so they could flip votes. You know what I'm saying? That's how crazy that was. Let's see. I like you would prefer a different candidate than Trump, but all the allegations against Trump, right or wrong, are all part of the Democratic campaign strategy. I don't want Democrats to control the narrative. I don't vote for Democrats other than maybe David Clark when he ran the first couple times. And we all know why that was, because he couldn't win as a Republican, so he ran as a Democrat. I guess for me, it's really about this. Who's going to step up? Is it Ron DeSantis? As caller Mark just said, some scary stuff happening in Florida. This war on Disney. I got a great fact piece on Bud Light sales, by the way. There's a war on Bud Light, and it's working. Whether it's a conservative boycott or whatever you want to call it, it is working. We'll get to that after the break here. A few more texts, and then we'll jump to the break. The scenario I see it is if it's their age, as one or both of them dies of old age. Well, I don't wish someone to pass away. I'm not going to do that. It's certainly a consideration. Another texter says, hell no. 414, good environment for a third-party candidate. Something that would rarely work otherwise. You know, we've talked about this forever. Is this the impetus where we finally start moving in that direction, where a viable third party could be a real thing? And what would that do to national politics? How would it shake things up? Good, bad, indifferent? I don't know. Ross Perot, where are you? For the 9-2, am I missing something, or does Trump just have to say it's false and people automatically believe him? Are they that naive? Look, I've had these conversations for as long as I've been doing this. It's interesting to me that there's a couple ways that people look at Trump. One, they just push it all aside and don't care. And two, whatever is said, whatever a institution like Department of Justice, FBI, whoever, says about him is all manufactured and political. And at some point, I think you have to ask yourself, is that the only way we can look at Donald Trump? Tex joins us from the beautiful state of Florida. Hi, Tex.
Hey, I still say by election time, people will come to common sense, want to get Biden out of there, and somehow or another, it's going to be somebody other than Trump for the Republican side, and he will win easily.
Well, you're in Florida. What do you think about Ron DeSantis?
I've liked him before. I mean, I don't think it's going to be him. I like him as governor, but
popular governor.
Somehow or another, they will pick somebody other than Trump.
you think common
come down to them too again?
Yeah, thanks, Tex. Tex is like me. Common sense has to prevail at some point. Thanks for the long distance call, by the way, and the long distance listen. I love that. Look, will common sense prevail? I don't know. I'm just coming to the realization, like a lot of people are, that this is, I think, what we're going to be handed. Doesn't mean it's etched in stone. Doesn't mean it has to happen. But give me an alternative. And whether it's Ron DeSantis or Rick Scott or Nikki Haley on the Republican side and anybody else but Biden, I think that's a slam dunk. If he wants to run and he's able to, he's going to be the guy. The only question is, whatever CNN and whatever Donald Trump says on CNN next week, is that going to impact anything? I don't know. Guess it depends on the questions and how he answers. We'll take a break. Interesting little factoid on Bud Light sales since the boycott began, the controversy. We'll do that after this on WTMJ.
You're listening to the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ. Stay in touch. You can reach us on the Old National Bank talk and text line at 855-616-1620. Old National Bank. Get old.
When big national banks make a decision, it requires many emails, phone calls, and plenty of video conferences from around the globe. When we make a banking decision, we do it over a cup of coffee in our office. Finding a local bank that's passionate about the community and knows your name is hard to find these days.
Good morning, Diane. Welcome back.
The search is over.
Waterstone Bank, proud to be your local bank for over 100 years. Love your bank as much as we love this community. Waterstone Bank, Waukesha, Milwaukee, and Washington County.
Member FDIC. The new Burkhardt Sporting Goods is now open in New Berlin, and it is the baseball lover's destination. With a massive state-of-the-art indoor training facility featuring hit tracks with precision analytics, a huge open turf area, and all the best training equipment you need. And we carry the Midwest's largest bat selection from all the major brands that you can try before you buy. I'm Brian Burkhardt, and if you love baseball and softball like we do, you gotta see the new Burkhardt Sporting Goods on 155th and National in New Berlin. You can't beat Burkhardt. If you plan on training buzzer beaters, the place to start is Burkhardt, where you'll find a great selection of shoes and court gear. But what's going to turn you into the next big thing on the court is practice. And there's no better place to do it than on your own court. Having your own hoop is an absolute must to hone your shot. and we'll help you get there with a great selection of basketball hoops and accessories. This is Brian Burkhart, and I promise you, when you love basketball like we do,
you can't beat Burkhart.
Years ago, Mom believed in us so much, she wrote a business plan to get the company started, and today, Johnson & Sons Paving is thriving.
And loaded with family.
I'm Jason Johnson.
And I'm Jeff Johnson.
Johnson & Sons Paving is your premier asphalt, concrete, seal coating, and striping company.
From pothole patching to asphalt repairs
to parking lot total reconstructions, we have you covered.
Johnson & Sons Paving is customer-focused and quality-driven.
Call us today.
262-251-5585.
Johnson & Sons Paving.
Now, more of the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
If you remember, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago now, the controversy, the hiring of Dylan Mulvaney by Anheuser-Busch Bud Light's marketing campaign, trying to be less frat boyish, always a good move, except in this case. Week ended April 22nd, so about a week or so ago. The brand's in-store sales plummeted more than 26%. Bad enough. But that's on top of the week before the sales dropped 21%. The week before that, when it all started, 11%. Bud Light's in a world of hurt. Now, I remember when we had this initial conversation, I wouldn't base my beer consumption. I don't drink Bud Light, but I wouldn't base my beer consumption on their marketing campaign, just not the way I do things. If I like a beer, I drink it. I could care less about the politics. Matter of fact, I think I used a Penzi Spice the other day. Don't get into that, all the craziness associated with what the owner of a company or what the brand ambassadors or influencers say about it. But it is a challenge for Bud Light because they are losing sales dramatically. And whether they can survive it, I'm sure they will, but it's going to be a different animal after all of this. And as our bar restaurant owner told us on the phone when we were talking about this a couple weeks ago, people just shift. They go drink a different beer, and if they like that other beer, you don't get those sales back. And all that Bud Lights, well, it'll get drank sometime, but somebody else picks up the slack. Interesting times for Anheuser-Busch and Bud Light. And what happens to that very popular brand? A lot of friends, family drink Bud Light. I think they're still drinking it, but you wonder long-term how it affects that brand. Our news time is 11:30 from the Breaking News Center. Eric Bilstead.
Thank you, sir. In Madison, the Joint Finance Committee holding its first votes on Governor Evers' two-year state budget today. The GOP-led committee removing 545 items from the proposal. That includes free school meals, paid family leave, and Brewers Stadium funding for American Family Field. The White House is sending more troops to the southern border to help with what is expected to be a busy season. The move will bring the number of troops at the border back to the same levels as the start of the Biden administration before they were drawn down. Green Bay Packers quarterback Jordan Love has agreed to a one-year contract extension, keeping him with the team this year and next. And the U.S. Surgeon General says loneliness poses health risks as deadly as smoking a dozen cigarettes daily, costing the health industry billions of dollars a year. Time now for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management market update. Right now, the Dow is down 501 to 33,550. The Nasdaq is down 157 to 12,055. The S&P is down 63 to 4104. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button today. Checking the roads now with your Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic. 94 eastbound, Highway 16 all the way into the city right now is clear. That's a 17-minute trip. 4145 southbound, Highway Q to the Zoo is also on time. That's 15. 43 southbound, no issues there from Brown Deer Road into the city, and same with 94 north. From Layton into the Marquette, that's delay-free in 7 minutes.
Traffic sponsored by Wagner Compressor, the Midwest air compressor experts. Visit pressureisoff.biz. Servicing world-class Wisconsin manufacturers for 9 decades. Contact Wagner Compressor at pressureisoff.biz.
Wagner Compressor.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast, mostly cloudy today. Slight chance for a little bit of rain, otherwise just cloudy. Windy, a high of 48. Tonight, breezy, a low of 36. For Wednesday, sunny. Tomorrow, a high of 58 inland. Thursday, sunny, a high of 65. Friday, the high is 66. Saturday, a 65-degree high inland on Saturday. Right now in Milwaukee, it's 45. I'm Eric Bilstead, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:32.
As we celebrate this year's Salute to Service, sponsored, of course, by Educators Credit Union, we'll bring you some of the best of last year after this on WTMJ.
Grandview buys homes. Hi, I'm Tom Delich, here to tell you Grandview will buy your home in any condition. Water damage, mold, cracks in the foundation, not a problem. Electrical issues, bad roof, peeling paint. We've seen and bought them all. Or maybe your home just hasn't been updated in 20 or 30 years. Grandview will buy your home too. Don't do a single repair. And best, take only the belongings you want and leave the rest to us. Sell your home as is today. Call the name you know and the name you trust. GrandviewHomes.com.
Get fired up for your next adventure to the Island Resort and Casino. Recharge at the Drift Spa and enjoy a delicious dinner afterward. Get in on the action of your favorite slots and table games, followed by live music or a comedy show. And golfers know you can always bet on green, Sweetgrass, and Sage Run. 36 holes of award-winning golf, some of the finest in the Midwest. So many ways to have fun. Experience more at the Island Resort and Casino.
It's time for you and that diamond to come alive again.
At the second annual Spring Ring Cleaning at Kessler's.
Even if you have a good ultrasonic jewelry cleaner, it can't match the pressurized steam cleaning we do at Kessler's.
Let us steam clean and polish your engagement ring.
For free.
I'm Joe Gerke, president of Kessler's, and we want to strip away all the soap scum that is making your diamond look dull.
For free. And while we're doing it, we'll inspect the prongs on your ring to make sure your diamond isn't about to fall out.
It's the second annual Spring Ring Cleaning at Kessler's.
Here's another idea. Bring us anything you own that needs to be repaired, and we'll give you a price to make it like new again.
And if you have some old jewelry you don't wear anymore,
We can make something unique and wonderful out of it.
unique in all the world.
Welcome to Kessler's.
To find the Kessler's nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Now, more of the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
As you know, if you've been listening to the station, you know it's my annual Salute to Service month here on WTMJ. Great partners, Educators Credit Union, who stepped up this year, and the Packing House Restaurant. I'm going to have the owner of the Packing House, Chris Wyken, on at some point in the next couple of weeks talking about their decision to partner with us. $150 gift card for each of our honorees. Our 5 honorees will be unveiled in the last week of May. So we're in the nomination process. So I'll go through that, but I also want to play one of last year's honorees because it's a great story. So it's pretty simple. If you go to WTMJ.com and you click on the Salute to Service banner, you can't miss it. It'll take you to the nomination form. The process is easy. Some basic information from you. Tell us the individual, the department, a couple paragraphs on why you're nominating that individual. And it could be anything from a police officer, firefighter, dispatcher, EMT, paid or volunteer, doesn't matter. We've had both. Medical first responder, frontline nurse, doctor, someone who did something amazing, above and beyond, just a story that's worth telling. And we've had everything in the 5 years that we've done this. Just incredible stories of people showing why those frontline positions, those first responder positions, are so important. And as I said, easy process. I'll do the rest. I'll contact, I'll interview, sometimes over the phone, sometimes in person. And in the last week of May, we will unveil those honorees in person, in studio, for all of you to hear. And little pat on the old back, on my own back, but one of last year's honorees, which will play probably sometime later this week, is part of the reason why Salute to Service is nominated for a WBA award, which we'll find out over the weekend. I'm actually heading out of town over this weekend and next week, but I'll find out, and I'll certainly make that part of our presentation going forward if we won a WBA award for community service. So all of that is great. I need your help. Easy way to do it, WTMJ.com. Nominate someone that stepped up. But I wanted to bring in, we'll do this all the way, probably right up till we give you this year's honorees, to highlight the stories that we've talked about in the past. And this is a good one. This is one of our 5 honorees from last year. Milwaukee Police Detective Andrew Wilkewicz. And as is often the case, off duty, doesn't matter, on duty, it's all the same. They always show up. Here's his story.
We want to get to our top story right away this morning. Today,
We will be watching for charges connected to the shooting of an off-duty Milwaukee police detective shot multiple times while trying to break up an attempted carjacking. It happened yesterday right in the middle of the afternoon in the city's historic 3rd Ward.
3 suspects are charged in connection with the shooting that left a Milwaukee police detective with multiple gunshot wounds.
My name is Andrew Wilkewitz, and I'm a detective with the City of Milwaukee Police Department. I have been with the Milwaukee Police Department just under 8 years. I've been a detective for about 1.5 years. After I went into the restaurant, I placed my order, and I sat down, and I didn't actually see this initial incident, but one of the employees told a female customer inside that somebody just tried stealing her car, and the employee said that the person that tried stealing your car dropped something on the ground, and I observed that the customer went near her car and on the ground located a cell phone, and that apparently was dropped by the person who tried stealing her car. While I was out there, I saw that she had children in the back seat of her car. I saw at least 2.
I'm Steve Wilkewitz. I'm the father of Andrew Wilkewitz. Well, we were, I would say, confused because we knew he was on an off day, and we couldn't quite understand, what had happened. We didn't have any details.
At this point, I start thinking, and I almost know for sure in my head that that's the car that just tried stealing this lady's car that was involved, and that's probably the person that tried stealing her car. And this person walked right into the Shake Shack, actually stood right next to me. And I knew it was likely that this was the person that was involved, but I had no reason to do anything. However, I look out the window, and the car that was parked, or that was down the street where this individual got out of it, turned around, it was parked right in front of the front door. And I tried looking through the window to get a license plate on this car because I knew this car was up to no good. She went outside, and I got the license plate on the car. The people inside the car, I think, saw me looking and drove away. I walked back into the restaurant, and I started typing the license plate number into my phone, so I didn't forget it. And that's when I saw and heard this individual who's wearing the ski mask walk up to this lady and say, "Give me my phone back." And at that point, he started physically attacking her. I stepped in. We engaged in myself and this suspect. I engaged in a physical altercation inside the restaurant. And during that physical, I identified myself as a police officer multiple times. And during this physical altercation, the suspect pulled out a gun. I never saw it, and shot me twice, point blank. But I fell to the ground, and the suspect began running out the door. And, at this point, I know now I'm fighting for my life. This person just tried to kill me. I knew, and this is something they train us for, is you're never out of the fight.
So I want to ask you, as a police officer and a detective, what does service mean to you? What does salute to service mean to you?
Well, we sign up, you don't just sign up to be a police officer and get a paycheck. Generally, there's a reason you do this job. This job's not for everybody. There's a lot of jobs that aren't for me. This is just something that, I feel like I'm good at what I do. I know what I do it matters. It matters to a lot of people. Despite a lot of the rhetoric you hear, especially over the last couple of years, the community overwhelmingly supports the police.
I have to tell you that it's a privilege. His mother and I have the chance to see your son make a difference. I don't know how else to put it. We're very proud of him, but we're even more grateful that he's alive and he's able to tell a story, and he's able to represent the best of the police department.
Just one story of our 5 honorees last year, salute to service, and don't tell me it's a job, because as you just heard, that is somebody who just lives it. It's not for everybody, as he said in his own words, Andrew Wilkewitz. It's a passion. It's a profession that the switch never goes off. And as he told you in the story, great story told by producer Brandon Snide there, who did all the heavy lifting on that piece. It's something that when the situation presents itself, they show up. And we're going to continue to present some of our previous honorees. They're great stories. I've done, at least 25 of them over the last 5 years. So we'll share some of those as we run up to the last week of May when we actually present this year's honorees. But I need your nominations. Go to WTMJ.com, click on the Salute to Service banner, and tell me a little bit about the person, the department they work for, the agency they work for, and the story. And it can be a little thing, it can be a big thing. This was a big one. Very highly publicized case, but they're all interesting, and they're all unique individuals, and I really enjoy the process, and that process starts now. I need your help. Nominate, go to WTMJ.com, Salute to Service banner, give me the basic information, we'll do the rest. That nomination process will continue for a couple of weeks, but I'm off next week, so I need your help. I need those names. If you're a department head or a leader of an agency, organization, police department, fire department, medical institution, and you have a story that you want to share, I'm more than happy to look at it, and we may find one of our 5 honorees and share those stories. All part of Salute to Service. Thanks to Educators Credit Union, the packing house on Layton there, right by the airports, north side of the airports. Thanks for helping us share those stories. Quick break.
You're listening to the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
Eric Smith here from Austin Plumbing, Heating, and Air, home of the AC Gurus. And I believe there are 3 areas where you just don't go cheap: tires, toilet paper, and tune-ups. I call them the 3 T's. As much driving around as our trucks do, we can't skimp on tires. We want to remain famous for being on time. Toilet paper, well, we don't have to get into that, but you feel me, right? 1 ply just won't cut it. Then there's tune-ups. If you expect your AC to start up and keep running strong all season, if you want to ensure your equipment lasts years longer, that calls for an ostentatious AC tune-up by a guru from Austin Plumbing, Heating, and Air. That time spent with your AC, that 90 minutes to 2 solid hours, whoa, that's some quality time. And the results are guaranteed. Remember, you get what you pay for, and then some with Austin Plumbing, Heating, and Air. We deliver the cold air with timeliness. Oh, that's 4 T's. Schedule your appointment online at teamaustin.com.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Had enough of those little flies in your kitchen?
I did. That's why I got Zevo. I just plug in the trap, insert a cartridge, and let the light do all the work.
Zevo traps use blue and UV light to attract and trap flying insects with no odor, no mess, and no stress. Stop swatting and ditch the DIY traps. With Zevo, getting rid of bugs is as easy as
click, click, blue.
Zevo. People friendly, bug deadly.
There are over 10,000 reasons why steel is not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot. There are over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at steelusa.com. Lowe's and the Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
Get started with your no-hassle refi checkup by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com.
Live life to the fullest. Hey, you hear that all the time, but it's easier said than done when you're in pain, right? Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. QC Kinetics gives people all around Milwaukee their quality of life by providing much-needed relief for chronic joint pain, and not just providing that relief, but doing it in the most non-invasive way possible, using regenerative treatments from your body's own natural biologics. So where is your joint pain? In your knees, your hips, shoulders, maybe your back? Well, QC Kinetics concentrates these impactful treatments right at the source of your pain, directly applying healing properties where you need them the most. No surgery, no downtime, no steroids or harmful drugs. And patients are raving about the results. So what does living life to the fullest look like for you? Well, finally being able to exercise or walk the dog, maybe enjoying time with the family, or just working your job. Whatever it is, don't wait another day. Call QC Kinetics for your complimentary consultation. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Give them a call, 414-285-3474.
Now, more of the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
Little text cleanup. We were talking about Bud Light earlier, and somebody sent me a thing that apparently Bud Light is the official beer of the NFL and will be till 2027. See how that works out. So a couple of texts that are, I think, relevant and pretty illustrative of what we're talking about here with the sort of the ban on Bud Lights by some conservatives related to the decision to hire Dylan Mulvaney to be a brand influencer for that popular beer. From the 262. So I sat down with two buddies to have a beer, and I ordered a Bud Light, and they both gave me a hard time while they're drinking a Busch Light and a Michelob Ultra. I just shook my head. Yeah, I'm fascinated by the interaction in that setting, right? So if you're the one guy who likes Bud Light, are you going to stop drinking it? I have a lot of friends and family members who love Bud Light. As far as I can tell, they're still drinking it. No, there was another really good one. Here it is. A 920. I bartend in a rural community, and I have had people that were dedicated drinkers of Bud Light and now have changed brands. I've heard that expressed. And you'd hate to see somebody take a bath on having a lot of Bud Light in their cooler and then not being able to sell it, but maybe somebody smarter than me can tell me what the shelf life is on a domestic beer. Probably about 3 months, I would imagine. It's all dated now. From the 920, this is the one I was talking about. The deal runs through 26-27. Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL, they renewed their partnership in 2021. Another texter says the Bud Light and InBev will be just fine financially. Yeah, whether they make $8 billion in profit or $7 billion in profit, they have a lot of brands and a lot of power, a lot of influence. I think they'll be fine. But it is something to say about the power of a boycott. Typically not something that I spend much time on because, as I said, I haven't stopped using Penzeys Spice because of their owner. I love Chick-fil-A. I'm not that I'm opposed to what they do or say. I'm not going to change that behavior. Do people realize, this is from the 414, do people realize that Anheuser-Busch owns a huge chunk of the beer industry and people just be switching brands to another beer that they own? Yeah, I don't know if it's so much about that. They just want to punish anybody who's involved with Bud Lights. And it also points out, too, which is the thing about boycotts, it's often superficial. It's not like layered with a lot of common sense and logic. But here you've pissed off a group of beer drinkers who liked Bud Lights because you, wanted to hire someone that was going to change the dynamic of the demographics of your beer? Why? I think the comment that the marketing person made at Anheuser-Busch was that they didn't like the frat boy image or the tough guy. Why? Why do you care? If you're in the business of beer sales, why do you care who drinks it? And why would you try to change that? Unless you're trying to re-engineer the population and the culture. That's not the job of a beer company. Your job is to sell beer, hopefully the one that people like. On the 262, it's simple as this. Bud Light should be boycotted. Should be, shouldn't be, don't care. I don't drink Bud Light, and I probably would still drink it if I did, because I don't care about that stuff. What some brand ambassador, influencer on social media, company, woke policy doesn't impact me. Don't care. Not going to change my behavior based on any of that. I know that it does for some people. That's why we were talking about social media earlier. The impact of these influencers, I don't get it. I know it's real. I know they're powerful. I know they make a lot of money. Don't care. That's just me. One more time on our question of the day on our social media Twitter accounts, 620 WTMJ, or at WTMJ Steve. Give me a follow if you could. A new state budget proposal includes a potential sales tax increase in Milwaukee. Local leaders want elected officials to decide. I don't like that idea. And not leave it up to voters in a binding referendum. What do you think? Who do you think should decide? Voters, I'm proud of you. With 200 votes, voters, 71%. Elected officials, 25%. Nope. State legislature, a miserable 1.5% with a couple comments. Still time to vote. If you're not on the twits, which is probably a good life choice, you can certainly vote on the Old National Bank Talk and Text line, 855-616-1620. Who should decide? The right answer, my opinion, my show, voters. Always respect the wisdom of voters. It's not absolute. Voters can be dumb too. But in this one, I think they're right on with 71% of the vote. Still time to vote. We'll give you the final results, maybe on tomorrow's show. Busy show tomorrow, as they all are this week. And we're going to continue to give you some of the best honorees of our Salute to Service all through the run-up to our awarding of this year's honorees the final week of May. Quick break. We'll see what Jeff Wagner is going to talk about after this on WTMJ.
You're listening to the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ. Start planning for your retirement today so you enjoy retirement tomorrow. Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday mornings at 7, where Tony Drake and his Education First team discuss retirement trends, taxes, inflation, and Social Security benefits to help you achieve a more secure financial future.
Join us this week as we talk about regional bank failures and rising interest rates and how you can protect yourself in your retirement nest egg.
Retirement Ready with Tony Drake on WTMJ.
You are a guaranteed winner with Siding Unlimited, Wisconsin's best contractor for your home's beauty and defense. Siding Unlimited is siding, of course, but so much more. Windows, roofing,